It's a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing, and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Harry Robinson Salisol Ford wants to buy or trade for your vehicle today, and they will give you top dollar. Pre-owned car values are at historic all-time highs, and your car today is worth more than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Salisol Ford, and they'll give you more than any other dealer. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they'll still buy yours. Harry Robinson Salisol Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off I-40 in Salisol.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, another round of strong to severe weather expected. Large hail damaging winds will be the two main threats, but we can't rule out the possibility of a few tornadoes. We should see a chance of showers and storms build again. Again, those strong to severe high temperatures will be in the mid to upper 70s. Showers and thunderstorms will be intense again tonight, and overnight low 50s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Forest Green Incorporated, committed to setting the standard of excellence since 1936. Live from the Michelob Ultra Studios, you're listening to ESPN 95.3.
ERX Paris Fort Smith.
Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that can respect you.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
Don't ask me if I'm all right. What can't they dominate? And we not doing it.
We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Yeah.
People said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Phil Olsen and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. What's my hot dog? Let's go, man.
I have zero respect for saying no moss at halftime.
Name one Razorback. It's vintage Matt Jones.
The Cinderella story is over, man.
Let's go.
Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olsen and Matt Jones.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome in, 11:01. Looks like we may have a pretty interesting weather day across our listening audience. Certainly going to be an interesting day if you are hoping to be able to watch a baseball game at Baum Walker Stadium, or in my case, call one and watch one at the same time. This will be one of those days you're going to have a lot of questions. Are you going to play? Are they going to play? Are they going to play? And I won't have any answers for you until maybe around game time. I won't have any definitive answers on that. Not like I am the person to ask to begin with when it comes to will they play or won't they play, but I can help you out here on halftime for the next 3 hours and just kind of chop it up and talk sports with the guys along with my partner, Matt Jones. I'm Phil Elson. We're in the home studios in the Fort, and Christian Johnston back in the studios today. Good morning to you, Matt. We may actually have some interesting weather going on outside the windows of the studio today. So didn't you just see Wizard of Oz?
I did, and what a good show that was. Got to see that in the Sphere, and that tornadic activity in that movie was absolutely bananas. I guess that feels like what Detroit Pistons are feeling like right now. Number 1 seed, down 3-1 to the Magic in the first round.
What's going on in that? Is this like the Sonics and Nuggets from what year was that?
Oh, that was in the 90s with Dikembe. Everybody remembers Dikembe holding the ball. Yeah,
it was one of the biggest upsets from my fandom.
5 games back then too. Yeah,
that's right. Are we gonna have one of those iconic photos? I remember that photo, the Dikembe photo. That's the one you're talking about.
I don't know, but my guy, Anthony Black, had the worst plus minus. He played 18 minutes, 2 points, was minus 19. So I'm thinking he's going to bounce back, play good next game.
But his team won, right?
That's
Isn't
right.
That what matters?
That's exactly what matters.
That's exactly, yeah. So I saw Arkansas plays Ole Miss in baseball this next weekend. They've got one of these real fearsome sluggers that transferred in for the Rebels recently. His name is, why are you already groaning? Just because they've got a fearsome slugger for Ole Miss unit? Hey, We got it.
That doesn't usually bode well.
We got an Ed McMahon groan 3 minutes into the show.
Pattern recognition right there.
Everybody's got a fearsome slugger in the SEC, just about, except for Missouri. Never mind that.
You did it. You did it today. That was on you, not on me.
I know. So they've got this guy named Tristan Becerra, who's a fearsome left-handed hitter, just, kind of bashes it all over the place. And he had an 0 for 12 doubleheader against Georgia last week. Now they split the doubleheader.
So he's human. Yeah.
Well, yeah, he's human, but I remember seeing Tony Gwynn would talk about, hey, if I go 0 for 4 but we win the ball game, I'm going to be a lot happier than if I go 4 for 4. Mm-hmm. And I'm just thinking about, for it's so frustrating to have a poor performance, especially in the postseason, because you just never. I would think athletes just don't take that for granted when it comes to being in the postseason, especially for the first time in Black's case. And you have one of these awful games that felt like one of the most frustrating performances of your life, but your team wins. So you'd be like, you know what? This was a really good day. It's got to be a little difficult to try to morph yourself in towards that, because you want to be happy with your performance, but at the ultimate thing, you want your team to win.
That's why it's a team sport, and I love everything about that. You win as a team, you lose as a team, and coaches, you'll start that mindset in practice where if you're playing basketball and somebody does a mistake twice, everybody's going to run. Somebody doesn't hit their free throws, everybody's going to run. Same thing in football. You jump off sides, one player jumps off sides, all 11 of you run. So, you start teaching those principles at a young age. I think Anthony Black would be fine.
Okay, so what happens, though, then if you're a starting quarterback and you've checked yourself into gambling rehab for mistakes that you've made in your own mind here, and I'm sure that I don't know if he would have if Brendan Sorsby would have voluntarily put himself into rehab for gambling unless he felt there was somebody nipping at his heels, and that this is an opportunity, one, to get your mind right in this case, and two, to also say to when you're put in front of everybody, well, I'm trying to work on this. But what about the rest of the team that's left behind who they just finished spring ball, it's all over, this is the starting quarterback until he's not. And it's not a matter of an injury. It's not it's like what can you do to get kicked off a football team when you are the starting quarterback and you are maybe the most highest paid at your position in the entire country for something that is so high profile as Texas Tech football right now, which is more high profile now than when the most high profile quarterback in the NFL played there, because of how out front they are of the amount of money they're spending on their roster. And now the most expensive player, and this is independent of the kid and I shouldn't call him kid, of the adult who made these decisions and now has to figure out what he's going to do about that and what it's like to rehab. Meanwhile, there's this entire football team over to the left who doesn't have their quarterback.
Well, do you think there's anything about being a self-imposed bowl ban, so to speak? He kind of self-reported it, being able to get help right away. Maybe he's playing this year. Like, what if I say, is there a percentage? Do you think it's 0% chance that he's a starting quarterback when camp starts? He's gonna get suspended for a whole season.
I think
games?
I'd say a Blutarski is 0.0.
Yeah, Sharon, you start looking at some of these coaches and what they've done, and they would they would miss the first 2 non-conference games and be able to come back. So he's kind of self-admitting it. I don't know who kind of pulled the fire alarm on him.
Unless he's got a fall
he's
guy.
Showing contrition like Shohei Ohtani. Yeah, if you got a fall guy, then I think you have a better chance, but it doesn't look like
But there isn't any kind of a fall guy in this case. Because and also, just as Rick just texts in here too. I mean, this is he was doing this at Indiana in 2022.
2022, yeah. They changed the rules in 2023 where it's done. If you do that, they say you're not playing anymore. But so that's why it's weird when they went back to. There's always everything's calculated.
The rules have changed multiple times.
But so if his last bet is in 2022, I think that the rules would be different for him.
And I would have a tough time believing that really would be his last bet.
Because what do you have a problem for if you haven't done something in 1,000 days? Don't you think you got it nipped?
It's right. If you haven't, if the last bet you made was 3 years ago or 4 years ago in this case, were you really that naive to believe that was the last bet, and now he's checking into. I mean, it's different if you're bringing up a story from 4 years ago and saying this happened. Why are you talking about it now? Well, it's I don't know if usually by now you've overcome the addiction if you're not gambling anymore. So this means he's still been gambling, whether it's on sports, whether it's on table games, whether it's on
there was a thing
dominoes with your teammates outside the locker room.
You'll love this. So I was watching a show before this, doing a little prep, and it said they have reports of him betting pitch by pitch for a Cincinnati Reds baseball game.
Oh my gosh!
I thought it was.
Well, I mean, we have Neil Atkinson on every Friday from Bet Saracen. And it's like, there's one of the things that you say, well, this is a thing you can do for sports now. It really can make you a little more interested in the game, is you can bet pitch by pitch. But you know what, you're not. And here's the thing about Sorsby, I think, when it comes to betting pitch by pitch for professional baseball, I think that's within the purvey of the rules.
As long as you're not on college campus, right? As long as you're not on –
as long as you're not gambling on college sports or college football. I think a college athlete now betting on a professional sport, I think that has become legalized by the NCAA.
Okay.
But it's the gambling on the actual sport that you play in. I mean, that's the whole Pete Rose thing all over again. This is the oldest. This really is. It is the oldest bad thing you can do as an athlete or a manager or a head coach, is to gamble on the sport that you play. Whether or not you bet on your own team, whatever reasons you have, that in and of itself, without any other explanation of your reasons, is like the worst thing you can do.
Well,
because look at what it's done. Look at how it's ended careers, and it has ended legacies, and when it's become public. And I'm sure there's some stuff that's been swept under the rug in some athletes' career stories that hasn't been told. And there's a reason they try to sweep that under the rug, because when it comes out, you can lose a year, you can lose your entire career, you can lose your entire legacy. Or in this case for Texas Tech, and apparently there was reports like Cincinnati knew that Sorsby was gambling. This kind of also goes to the idea of when you are looking for people in the portal and you're making quick decisions, because you got to be quicker than the next school. And it's got to be, a lot of money that you got to be able to throw in there and everything. So you got to maybe overlook some things or maybe not pay close attention to some other things. Did they really not do their work on, hey, this quarterback that we're paying X million of dollars to may have had a gambling addiction? That's why I'm not like looking at this saying, oh, poor Texas Tech and everything like that, because I'm looking through the quarterbacks that they've got on their roster now, and there ain't anybody there. Like this is a team that, look, they've got some talent. This kid Will Hammond apparently started a game last year, played fairly well, but they weren't planning on him. This is a team that's expecting to win the Big 12 every year. They might have trouble winning 2 or 3 Big 12 games now.
Well, I hope he gets help, and I hope everything works out for him. I mean, it makes me think of the movie The Longest Yard, that's you always saying is, I guess the black eye is if you bet on your team, but he never did that. So it's like people can kind of, and I'm telling you, the egos, the alpha, just the way a locker room is. There will be 10 different card games on an airplane when you're traveling. There'll be the $10,000 game to the $50 game, like whatever kind of game you want to play in. Gambling is prevalent. It is all over the place with men like that make a lot of money, young, in that situation. So you're kind of a product of your environment, and it's so easy to do. And I don't want to say everybody's doing it, but man, you're sitting on a 3-hour plane ride. You're going to play cards with your buddies and pull out $500. And I think that's okay. But whatever this is, you got to be able to, I can't ever say that word right.
Compartmentalize.
You got to be able to do that. That's right.
Well, and so I've seen all of this on baseball team buses, not with the Razorbacks, but with minor league teams and in clubhouses, and just it's like card games that go on forever. But that's a social and whatever. Look, there can be negative aspects of gambling with your own teammates, really negative aspects sometimes, but that's still within the context of the team, and it's social, people being together and doing that together. But when what Sorsby's doing is betting on an Indiana football game while he is an Indiana Hoosier through an app.
And he was under 21. I think in his state you had to be 21 to make that bet, and he's not 21 until 2025. So that's another thing.
So there's another one. And you'd never be able to regulate teammates gambling with each other. That's free human beings associating with each other the way that they see fit, and it isn't hurting somebody else. But when it comes to putting money on your sport, that is, they used to say abortion is the third rail of politics. Gambling is the third rail of sports. You touch it, you die. You don't do when it comes to gambling on the sport you play in. That's the third rail. You don't touch that third rail when you go to the New York subway system. You know that third rail is there. You're looking at it. You know what's going to happen if you touch it. Don't touch it. Brendan Sorsby touched it.
It's hard. It's like climbing atop a mountain saying, "Don't look down." I mean, it's just at that age, you don't hear the word no a lot. You hope you have good people that are mentors to these kids and teaching them the right things to do. But and in sports, it's a lot of hurry up and wait. You have a lot of downtime. You have a lot of hard work time. Don't get me wrong. You wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning and you bust your ass till 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Physical, mental, all everything that goes into it, and then you have 12 hours off. You have time off, and so it's to me, I equate it like the Georgia Bulldogs all getting speeding tickets. It's the same. You're looking for some type of rush or some type of game type of field, some type of action that you only get 11, 12, 13 times a year if you're lucky playing the sport, and then you try to find something off the field to try to give you that, and it seems like that's what it was for him.
And so now at this time of the year, you can bet pitch by pitch on Cincinnati Reds games and get that kind of a rush. What is a guy that plays college football at the degree that Sorsby plays going to feel most confident in putting money on in the fall? College football, because he knows the sport.
He thinks he does.
Exactly. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
You think he's going to bet on table tennis? Is he going to bet on golf, MMA? Maybe so, but he's going to bet on college football because that's the thing you think he knows the best. 877-377-6963 is the Lewis Automotive Group hotline. Any time you want to call or text and get with us today on the show. Regular average Tuesday here on April the 28th. We'll be joined by Hall of Famer and Emmy Award winner Clay Henry at 12 noon for a couple of hours. During that time, we've got Bill King, Nashville Sports Radio. We'll dig into this situation with Texas Tech with Bill and some other stuff around college football at 1:15. Alyssa Orange about 15 minutes from right now, and anything else that you want to hit on as we go throughout halftime today. So stay with us. Halftime back in just a moment.
You're listening to Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
It's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, Sakhalin.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouth. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
From sauce to dust to nuggets. Diablo dusted crispy chicken nuggets. No, they don't come in mild. That would make like 0 sense with the name. Or the whole explosion thing we just did. New Diablo dusted crispy chicken nuggets. A brand new classic. Only at Taco Bell.
Lewis Automotive has been serving Northwest Arkansas for over 75 years and just getting started.
Our knowledgeable sales team is here to find you the perfect vehicle to fit not only your lifestyle, but also your budget.
Our factory-trained service technicians keep your vehicle running at optimal level.
And if you're looking for genuine parts and accessories, our team has exactly what you need.
Relax in our comfortable lounge, and when your car's ready, we'll return it to you spotless.
Thank you for being a part of our story.
Come see us at Lewis Automotive Group, where you're more than a customer, you're family.
If your Razorback closet needs an upgrade, the University of Arkansas Game Day Collection is what you are looking for, only at Roback.com. They have brand new Arkansas hoodies and polos that are selling fast. Go to Roback.com to check out their new apparel. That's Roback.com, RHOBACK.com. Use the code RUSH26 for 20% off your first order. Roback, where action meets comfort.
David Bowie got more fame with his #1 hit titled Fame. John Lennon co-wrote and sounded some of the high notes. The last line in the first verse sums it up. Fame puts you there where things are hollow. John 12:43 tells us that many people rejected Jesus because they loved the fame of people more than the praise of God. Is it any wonder you get more fame by rejecting the name of Jesus? I'm Pastor E from Woodland. Think about it.
Hello, this is Sebastian County Assessor Zach Johnson here to remind you to assess your personal property by May 31st to avoid late penalty. You can do this in person at one of our 3 locations, over the phone, or online by going to www.countyservice.net. I would also like to remind any current homeowners or any individuals buying their homes on contract to contact our office and check on your eligibility for the homestead tax credit. Contact us today to see if you qualify. The homestead tax credit could save you up to $600 off your tax bill.
So I had pain in my feet for a good 20 years.
It felt like I was standing on marbles.
Something wasn't working with my feet. Was diagnosed with plantar fasciitis.
If your feet aren't comfortable, the rest of the body suffers.
So I went into the Good Feet store and bam. They wanted to make sure that they gave me the right arch support.
You put in the arch supports. To me, it was almost miraculous.
It really brought me back to being able to be me.
I can run, I can walk. This is not something that you could solve online.
Reclaim the good life with a free arch support fitting at the Good Feet store. Good feet, good life.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first.
Make sure to follow Halftime on X at Hit That Line AR and on Facebook and Instagram at Hit That Line. Call or text 877-377-6963. All guests join us on the Lewis Automotive Hotline, serving Northwest Arkansas for over 80 years. Since 1946. No pressure, no hassle, just tradition. The challenge is over, but the deals aren't. Come take advantage of the thank you event only at Lewis Automotive. Let's get back to the show with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
And you are looking at projections if everybody returns to school who should return to school, I think you are looking at Jordan Smith Jr., to me, who, you know, pound for pound, inch for inch, looks like the best guard in the 2026 class. Malik Thomas and Billy Richmond as your starting perimeter. Mika Murinen as your 4-man, and then Cooper Bowser, the Furman transfer, as the 5. Arkansas could use another post player. And then you're looking off the bench with talented players like Jeremiah Wilkinson from, obviously, Georgia. Abdu Torre, obviously another talented freshman of that class, as well as J.J. Andrews. Arkansas, talent-wise right now, is a top 3 team in the SEC.
It's John Rothstein talking about the makeup of the roster with some assumptions, some major assumptions, too, when it comes to Billy Richmond and Malik Thomas. But maybe are those safe assumptions to make?
You know how I stand on this. I love both those kids. I think they're phenomenal talents, no question about it. And I think they're both going to wear an NBA jersey at some time. Yes, if I was advising both those kids, what they're doing is what I would advise them to have done. Go to the draft combine. Go be around that type of talent because they grow up playing AU ball. You know all these guys. Go do your workouts. And then come back, make $2 million apiece, play half the games. Be a leader on the team. Neither one of those guys would be starting next year. They would be so come back, that's what the NIL is just made for. Guys like that, in my opinion, because Billy Richmond, there's not going to be 5 better athletes in the conference next year than Billy Richmond. And then as far as ball skills and what he can do with the ball, and you know what Malik Thomas knows how to do? He knows how to move without the ball. So that's one of the things. He's a high IQ player. So work on some quick twitch movements, work some bounding, some explosive stuff. I'd be doing some track type of workouts. You want to do box jumps and bleachers and stuff to get those ligaments and those muscles and that moving that way. Get a little bit. He will be naturally, but I would advise them both to do that and then come back and lead the Razorbacks and have a chance to make a Final Four.
Man, I just wonder sometimes what's the rush unless you're a guaranteed
lottery pick.
Guaranteed lottery pick. And I mean, really, truly guaranteed. What is the rush, especially now? You come back to Arkansas, and I would assume those two will be paid the commensurate amount of money that somebody of their talents
$2 million
should be paid.
Yeah.
While at the same time, I mean, look, there's the whole idea of this journey you go throughout your career. And I think now for players of the caliber of Malik and of Billy Richmond, this is what will happen on an annual basis because that's important information. That's valuable information and experience you get by going through the process leading up to the moment that you take your name out of the draft or stay in, I guess. But then I'm not sure if the experience is quite as valuable.
I always go back to a guy named Tim Duncan, the big fundamental. He played 4 years of college basketball. 4 years. That's the time when 1-and-1's going. He's 7 foot. He's not making money. Like maybe under the table he is. Whatever. Don't get in so somebody's telling you in your mind that you think if you're not a one and done, you're a failure. Because it's not the case. Stay in school, work your craft, work your trade, and the beauty of it is now you get to make $500,000 a quarter.
That's true. I wonder too. And I agree about Duncan, but the world of basketball is so different from then because I don't remember how many players came out of Europe that really were drafted in the 90s, and there's more competition for these American kids now to make that. But look, here's the thing too. Like Billy Richmond and Malik Thomas to us, and I think to the scouts too, are first round draft choices potentially. So it's not like they're going to be pushed out of it by somebody that's coming over from France. But
you can't worry about that.
No,
you cannot worry about somebody else that's coming in the draft. You just got to worry about yourself. And I think that's something that Acuff did last year. And I think Coach Cal's really good at that as far as putting blinders on, focusing on what you can control, and you can't worry about stuff that's outside of your control.
So there's another sport on campus that's dealing with very much the same thing, but I think it's even more immediate, and he should be available this week. Carson Wiggins, as long as he got the okay from the team doctor yesterday, is ready to pitch for Arkansas this week. And I don't think they're going to rush him out there as a Friday starter or anything. But this is also a first-round draft choice with a rare kind of a right-handed arm who's already had I guess it's Tommy John brace surgery, so it's not the full ligament replacement, but he's already had the surgery. And, Dave has talked openly about, we were trying to convince him to come back to the SEC, be a frontline starter on a Friday for the Razorbacks, compete to make it to the national championship, and at the same time elevate your stock to where it's a known quantity. Not like, if this kid's back, he could be really good for us. No, you see him pitch for a full year for the Razorbacks and maybe do something pretty special because he's got a special arm, and then maybe he's not the 28th or 29th pick. Maybe he's the first pick or the second pick. He's making a lot more money. Now, here's Billy Richmond and Malik Thomas aren't, I don't think, going to be in that place where they elevate themselves to top 5 top 10. Is that
I
okay?
think
Is that legit?
Well, I think so. If I'm giving comps, I love to watch players play, and I love. You know who Billy Richmond could be is Manu Ginobili. You think
career.
Think about that guy and the quickness, the ability, what he could do. The world's his oyster. I mean, both those kids. I saw 4 NBA guys on the Arkansas Razorbacks last year: Acuff, Brazile, Thomas, and Billy Richmond. Those are 4 guys that I think are going to play in the NBA. And then I'd say Carter Knox, he didn't play last year, but so that's another guy that I think those guys are going to be fine. You just don't. You want to get good advice. I look at guys like Jordan Walsh playing for the Celtics. He's already won an NBA championship. He doesn't play a lot, but it seems to be working out, right? But he's not asked to score. He didn't score a lot in college. He's asked to rebound, be part of the second group, be a hustle guy, play defense, and Malik Thomas is going to be asked to put the ball in the basket. Billy Richmond's a guy though. He's so athletic. Billy's a guy that how do you want athletic ability, just natural talent, or do you want a guy that can put it through the hoop? Like they're both amazing at what they do. I wonder if Malik Thomas's acumen, I know he's got a high basketball IQ, so that's great. But how does his athletic ability transfer to the next level? Billy Richmond I'd be doing dribble drills every day. I'd be working on my jump shot. I'd be working on a little bit of a hesitation. What's Billy have? Turbo. It's a great move. He gets the ball, bam, he's by you. Work on some type of hesitation. This is what you're doing right now. You're supposed to be working on stuff like that. Then you show up next year, what it does to scouts, they say, man, he went and worked on his game. He got better. I noticed the improvement. He can get better next year. That's how all of a sudden both those guys could be lottery picks next year.
Well, and I certainly hope that the way you got a lot better from last year. I hope we're saying that as Razorback, show hosts at this point next year. Hey, look, he's going to be a top 10 pick.
Biggest jump for me for seeing kids play, and it happens. We'll have Clay Henry on for a couple hours, and he'll know this too. And I think y'all have both talked about when you see the biggest jump for me. For basketball players, and everything is situational. I get that, but the majority is your freshman to sophomore year. Look at what Billy did. Carter got hurt or whatever. Malik Thomas is gonna make it. There's just no way around it. He's gonna make a jump.
Want to remind you about Joe's Grilling Cantina, as it is lunchtime around our listening audience. They have the best Tex-Mex and even better service at Joe's Grilling Cantina. Every single day, Joe's Grill makes fresh, from scratch, salsa, queso dip, and guacamole, crispy warm chips to start your meal, and fajitas, enchiladas, tacos, burritos, and much more, always making your experience one that you won't forget. Great Tex-Mex, even better service at Joe's Grilling Cantina, 3400 South 74th, across from Harps and Fort Smith, or online at joesfortsmith.com. Alyssa Orange from Varsity Vibe joining halftime after this.
This is halftime.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Being young with unlimited energy to burn. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
All guys lose their edge when they turn 40. The body has less testosterone. That's why I take Nugenix Total T.
I've heard about Nugenix. That really works?
Since I started taking Nugenix, I'm lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. I feel more energized at work. It's even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try?
Yep, send a text. It's that easy.
Text FORCE to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text FORCE to 42424. That's FORCE to 42424.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or
You're listening to Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
W&W Automotive has moved back to their original location at 1600 Towson Avenue in Fort Smith. Same friendly folks offering the same great service. Now inside the original W&W building. Routine maintenance to major repairs, including front-end work and alignments, and specializing in AC systems. It's W&W Automotive. Call Mark or Kelly at 242-1600 or drop by their original location at the corner of Towson Avenue and South O in Fort Smith. W&W Automotive. Looking forward to seeing you there.
Hey, Ty Richardson for JamMart. JamMart is always trying to save you money, and that's why they partner with Valero. Hook up your checking account to the Valero Pay Plus app, and you'll get 10 cents off a gallon, plus other special deals on holidays and more. JamMart and Valero, passing on the savings to you. Now available at the 3 Fort Smith Valero JamMart locations. JamMart, the leading gas station and convenience store in the region.
Fill her up, please.
Valley Family Dental at the entrance to Riley Farms provides every type of dental care and procedure for you and your family. General dentistry, braces, implants, same-day crowns, and cosmetics. Dr. Sparkman, Farmer, and now Dr. Blaine Van Nice work to give all of their patients a better life with a better smile. Valley Family Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A at the entrance to Riley Farms. Let them know you heard this on ESPN Radio and receive $300 off a snore guard. Valley Family Dental, 479-226-3500 for an appointment or visit valleyfamilydentalpractice.com.
Taco Bell's $5, $7, and $9 Let's boxes are so luxurious, you might wonder if a chauffeur will pick you up from the restaurant. And how could you not? With selections like the signature $5 box, decadent $7 box, and abundant $9 box featuring the Triple Double Crunch Wrap with layer upon layer of what you love. While the drink is included, a chauffeur isn't. So plan accordingly. Don't let the Let's go to your head. Choose your $5, $7, or $9 Let's box at Taco Bell today. At participating Taco Bell stores for a limited time only while supplies last. Price of participation varies. Drinks excludes freezers and specialty beverages. That's extra.
2025 Ford Broncos for less than $600 a month for a limited time right now at Harry Robinson's Salisal Ford.
Yes, Tommy, I want to be very clear, and I want to explain this as clear as I can, right? 25 Ford Broncos. Ford just came out with this. We've got to move them. We got to get rid of them. You can buy a brand new Bronco right now. You can lease one for less than $600 a month. And don't worry, don't let the word lease scare you, okay? Usually they only give you about 8,000 to 10,000 miles a year to drive. Ford is giving you 15,000 miles a year to drive for a 3-year lease, and your payment's less than $600. I mean, guys, I've sold a bunch of these Broncos, and typically they sign at $8,000, $9,000, even $1,000, $1,100 a month for a monthly payment for 6-7 years. Right now, you can lease one for less than $600 a month, have the fun for 3 years, and then walk away scot-free.
All right, get all the details. Broncos for less than $600 a month on a lease at Harry Robinson's Salisal Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off I-40 in Salisal.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
It's late September and I really should be back at school. I know I'll keep you amused, but I feel I'm being used. Oh, Maggie, I couldn't have tried anymore.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text 877-377-6963. All guests join us on the Lewis Automotive Hotline, serving Northwest Arkansas for over 80 years. Since 1946. No pressure, no hassle, just tradition. The challenge is over, but the deals aren't. Come take advantage of the thank you event only at Lewis Automotive. Let's get back to the show with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Sports Director of Varsity Vibe, Alyssa Orange, joining us here on a Tuesday morning. Hey, Alyssa, it's the end of April. What's going on these days? How are you?
I'm great, guys. It's good to be with you again. We're kind of wrapping up softball and baseball and soccer season with regionals and state tournaments and, of course, the finals coming at the end of the month. So it's kind of that time of the year where you're trying to set yourself up for the postseason.
Yeah. So give me an idea of give me who's the best baseball team right now in across the state of Arkansas for high school. Give me a couple of teams to look at.
Sure. So Conway's playing really good baseball right now. I think you have to look at that, what's going on over there. And, of course, their catcher, Max Holland, coming to Arkansas next season. Just a really solid baseball team, playing really good baseball right now. Rogers is playing good baseball as well up here. And, of course, they're the defending state champions. And then in other divisions, you look at Valley View, who continues to just dominate their conference. They had a game against Greene County Tech last week, and the number 1 and 2 teams in the state in their conference, and Valley View getting that win. And so they're a team that just continues to play good baseball year in and year out. And so that's kind of where your top 3 teams are, I believe, right now.
Tell me about Max Holland. I talked a little bit about him with Matt Hobbs just before batting practice. I was talking a little bit about the incoming class for next year. I know they're really excited about Max. And catching, man, I mean, it's not like you're going to step in and be a starting catcher immediately, but, they are losing Ryder Helfrich after this season. Catcher is top of the list of who you're going to be replacing.
Sure. Absolutely. And I think that is something that excites Max, too. He wants to come in. He wants to learn. But I actually got to sit down and talk to him a little bit last week. And, he's just really focusing on his offense. And he said, I've just been able to really focus offensively to make myself a better hitter. He's seeing the baseball so well right now. I think their last game against Fort Smith Northside, he was 2 for 4 with a home run in that 10-0 win. And that just goes along with just the defensive side of him as a catcher as well. And I think he wants to be that versatile when he gets to the collegiate ranks. He's seeing what Ryder Helfrich is doing right now, how valuable it is to not only be a defensive catcher, but an offensive catcher as well. And just really continuing to elevate his game. But I think he just feels really good about where his game is right now. Of course, as Conway tries to win a state title, and then he heads to the Hill if, I always say knock on wood with baseball, right? Because you just don't know what the MLB draft's going to do. But we're just going to go ahead and assume he'll come to Arkansas.
Yeah, I would hope so. I would think so. I mean, you're right. You never really do know. I gotta ask, and I'm not sure how much contact you may have had with high school tennis programs in Northwest Arkansas or across the state, but I would be interested in their reactions to the university cutting tennis. Truthfully, there haven't been a lot of Arkansas kids that have played for Arkansas tennis in the last few years.
Sure.
So I just, but that doesn't make it any easier for some of those programs that still may have been able to point to Razorback tennis as something that's an achievable goal.
Sure. Yeah, and I believe there's one young lady from the Central Arkansas area, if I'm correct, who was committed to the University of Arkansas for tennis. And I don't know a lot of the tennis programs around here. However, I've been friends for a long time with Jessica Phelan, who was the longtime volleyball coach at Fayetteville and was an All-American volleyball player at the University of Arkansas. And her husband, Darren Phelan, was a tennis player at Arkansas. That is how they met. He now is the coach for tennis at Fayetteville, and good friends with the head coach there. And I know that it was a hard day. I mean, she posted tennis, Arkansas tennis family, our hearts are with you. Their kids grew up around that program because their dad played. And she was a volleyball player. And I know that it's made an impact, not just on the kids who could come in and potentially play for Arkansas, but the alumni who played for the University of Arkansas. And so that's the only real personal connection that I have with a good friend of mine whose husband was a player for Arkansas.
I know that the easy thing for us to wonder is what's going to be cut next. Do you view it that? Do you view it that way, or do you think that this Do you think this is just the start?
I think everyone has to say in the back of their head, what's next, right? That question is just natural. But at the same time, DJ Williams talked about this on his 4th and 5 the other morning, that in order to stay in Division I, you have to have 16 programs at least. And Arkansas right now is at 17. And you have to think about Title IX. And so you can't just cut the swimming program because that's a woman's only sport. You can't get rid of golf. I'm just throwing golf out there. You can't get rid of men and women's golf, which will never, I think we all know that John Tyson's not going to let that happen. But that drops you below 16. You're definitely not dropping track. Again, I'm thinking of men and women's sports that are tied together. You're not going to drop that because that drops you down below 16. Gymnastics you can't because of Title IX. Softball you can't because of Title IX. You're not cutting baseball right? Like, so I don't actually think there's anything else for Arkansas to do if they want to continue to be a Division I program, obviously, and stay in the SEC. And you're not breaking any Title IX rules by eliminating a female sport. So logistically, I don't see how they do anything else. But at the same time, it's just heartbreaking that this has had to happen. And I know people want to push around revenue, and you got to share that money and put it somewhere else. It's just unfortunate because that's a program that was just doing it the right way. They were going to the NCAA tournament. They were competing. They were carrying themselves as student athletes the right way. They didn't deserve what happened to them happen to them. It just is an unfortunate circumstance, which I quite frankly don't agree with, but I'm not Hunter Yurachek.
The other thing I wanted to ask you about, because you're kind of in a unique position as the sports director for Varsity Vibe, which focuses on high school athletes within the state of Arkansas. You know, with this situation with Brendan Sorsby, the Texas Tech quarterback, these gambling addictions do not get created when these kids show up on campus. This was something that had probably been he'd been gambling throughout high school. That's what I'm, and I just wonder about the message that does get delivered throughout the entire country to sports fans overall about, hey, it's this easy to gamble and it's okay to do it, but here's what the number to call if you've got a gambling addiction. This could end up being, this is sort of a result of that in some way.
Yeah. Well, it feels that way a little bit. And and we're parents, right, Phil? So let's take a step back even further. It's like a parent and how that impacts our kids because of how accessible cell phones and the internet and apps and betting apps and all those things are these days. You're 18 years old. You could still be in high school and you're able to do it on your own. And then if you get addicted to that and then you go and you be a college athlete, obviously we're seeing how detrimental that can be. And gambling, just like anything is an addiction, can be used in the wrong way, just like anything can be. And it's scary. And so as a responsibility, you kind of look at yourself too, like as a parent, where does that responsibility fall as well? And just being really smart and teaching your kids the safe way to do things. If that's something that they want to do, I don't think there's anything wrong with it at all. Like I've done some sports betting. I have great friends who do that as well. But how do you keep it safe? And how do you educate these young people to do it and do it in the smart way? And if things get out of hand, to step in and intervene before you get to this point. Because you got to think about it too. Like, yeah, he might be a student athlete, and I'm not trying to deflect blame by any means. But he has friends who aren't. And those friends can do whatever they want to, right? And so you just have to be really, really smart, and that's where education comes in. And I think we're a society still learning how to balance this new freedom of technology and everything at the tip of our fingertips, especially at a young age, right? And how you do that in a healthy way.
Hey, Alyssa.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Alyssa, I was want to see what you thought about the NFL draft. And I was looking over the Dolphins. We talked a little Dolphins, then talked some but the Razorbacks going. I like Jacob Rodriguez and Caleb Douglas speaking of guys from Texas Tech that they got in the later round. But who are a couple guys that you thought the Dolphins hit on?
Yeah, no, I agree, right? I love Jacob Rodriguez. And if you haven't watched this story that they did on him and his wife and their story in general, I think ESPN did it on a College Game Day. It is awesome. And I think that's the first time I really got introduced to him. And I was like, oh, I'm a fan of him. And then the Dolphins drafted him. And, Zach Thomas is one of his mentors. And it's so cool. Such a great story, right? But I do like the direction that they went, getting an offensive lineman and a defensive guy in the first round, and being able to trade down for that. I thought that was smart. Getting the offensive lineman from Alabama and getting Caleb Johnson, I thought was a big move. You always kind of want someone who's like flashy. You're losing Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, obviously Tua's with Atlanta, so I kind of wanted them to spice up the offense a little bit, but I do understand that all of that really starts, one, in the trenches and then just beefing up the defense. But, man, I would have loved for them to get maybe a new shiny weapon offensively that can attract some attention right off the bat.
Yeah, that Caleb Douglas guy, for another guy from Texas Tech, he runs a 4.3. I know he was the 26th receiver in the draft as far as how the rankings were, but we don't know all those rankings.
Yeah.
But he's
right,
got a
right.
little,
You don't know.
a little
sure.
explosiveness to him.
Yeah, that's not like but that's not like getting Jalen Waddle. You know what I mean?
Right,
You're like,
I know
oh my
what you
God, I remember him in college. You know what I mean? Like, like that guy jumps off the charts on you on paper. I remember him and what he was doing in college. That's what I don't know. So, and again, I'm hoping that in a couple years from now, he's like the next big thing, next big wide receiver. We'd all love that, right? But right now where we're sitting, I was like, man, I'd love some a little more fun, edgy.
We have enough fun with you Tuesdays. That should just be enough. That's right.
Well, thanks.
We'll leave it there, Alyssa. Thanks for joining us. Always appreciate this.
Of course, always, guys. Thank you.
Alyssa Orange is the sports director of Varsity Vibe. Download the podcast anywhere you get your podcast. Go to varsityvibearkansas.com, and you can also register for the daily newsletters right there, and it is valuable. It gives you some really good information. 877-377-6963 for halftime on the Lewis Automotive Group hotline. Wrapping up hour number 1 with a little more look at C Unit's halftime homework next.
Arkansas, again, is in line to start the 26-27 season as a top 10 team.
This is halftime.
Sometimes I'm in a hurry. Stay in the slow lane, buddy. That's when I use the Sodies app to order my favorites and pick up in their drive-thru. They even offer a 10% discount on your first app order. Experience different at Sodies Wine and Spirits off I-540 on Phoenix Avenue.
Every day is worth celebrating at Uncorked. Cocktails, wine, craft beer, bourbons, and unbelievably great food. Uncorked on Phoenix Avenue next to Sodies.
Don't miss it. State sales tax paid and free gas all summer long. Harry Robinson Buick GMC is the place. Free gas on every vehicle on the lot. Adam, you're paying state sales tax, which is thousands of dollars in savings on every pre-owned on the lot.
And something we probably haven't went over is it doesn't matter what your credit is. You can come in here. It doesn't matter if you've got good credit or bad credit. We accept all credit types and get a lot of people done. A lot of people think they have to go down to Towson to get financed, and you don't have to do that. You want your state sales tax paid? You want your gas paid for all summer? You want no money down? You want 90 days to your first payment, and you have less than perfect credit? Come out and come see us. We are Truck Country. We are the premier place to buy a car. Come out and come see us. I'll help you out.
You'll save thousands of dollars with the state sales tax, hundreds of dollars in free gas this summer.
And I've got a lot of vehicles to choose from. Close to 600 cars here on the lot. We'd love to help folks. Come down and come see us.
State sales tax paid and free gas all summer long. Harry Robinson Buick GMC, easy to find. Exit 11 off I-540 in Fort Smith and online at harryrobinson.com.
Selling your home doesn't have to be stressful, not when you work with Tara Lindbergh and the Lindbergh Real Estate Group. With over $1 billion in real estate sold, Tara's team knows how to make the process simple, successful, and even enjoyable. They can provide you with a cash offer in 72 hours, or you can use Tara's high-octane marketing and sell your home for thousands over asking. When it's time to buy or sell, trust the team that delivers results. Go to LindberghTeam.com, LIMBIRD.
Hello, this is Sebastian County Assessor Zach Johnson here to remind you to assess your personal property by May 31st to avoid late penalty. You can do this in person at one of our 3 locations, over the phone, or online by going to www.countyservice.net. I would also like to remind any current homeowners or any individuals buying their homes on contract to contact our office and check on your eligibility for the Homestead Tax Credit. Contact us today to see if you qualify. The Homestead Tax Credit could save you up to $600 off your tax bill.
This ad sponsored by the Sebastian County Assessor and paid for by Amendment 79.
It's Kubota Orange Day sales event at Gray Brothers in Fort Smith and Poto. Whenever you're ready, we're ready with Kubota equipment in stock. Hay equipment to zero-turn mowers and Kubota tractors. From the small subcompact DX up to the large Kubota M7 cab tractor and everything in between. Why wait? When at Gray Brothers, it's in stock and on sale. That's Gray Brothers Equipment in Fort Smith and Poto, where if you pick orange, you'll never get a limit.
Doe's Eat Place has been serving award-winning steaks for over 20 years, and now they're offering smoked prime rib on the weekends. It's a limited supply, so get your reservations in early. Try one of their delicious appetizers or your choice of drinks from the area's largest selection of wine, beer, and liquor. Doe's Eat Place open Tuesday through Thursday 5 to 9 and Friday and Saturday 5 till 10. Reservations are recommended. Follow them on Facebook for more upcoming features and events. Call 479-784-9111 for Doe's Eat Place, 422 North 3rd Street in Fort Smith.
Here's NASCAR Hall of Famer Mark Martin.
As a race car driver for 40 years, I survived a lot of crashes. Not everyone can run into a wall at 200 miles an hour and walk away. Without a seatbelt, I wouldn't be alive today. Now I'm retired, back home in Arkansas driving my pickup. I'm shocked how many people aren't wearing seatbelts. Why risk your life when it only takes 2 seconds to buckle up? Take it from number 6. Buckle up, Arkansas.
A message from the Arkansas State Police Highway Safety Office.
Lewis Automotive, celebrating over 80 years since 1946. No pressure, no hassle, just tradition. The challenge is over, but the deals aren't. Come take advantage of the thank you event only at Lewis Automotive. Welcome back into halftime, live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
Christian Johnston, the unit, did some homework yesterday, which we'll get a little bit more into in the second hour once Clay Henry's with us. And I'm so proud of him, Matt. Look at all the notes that he took here on the fine country of Finland.
There's a lot to know about Finland.
There better be a lot to know about
much,
Finland.
What's the average basketball player make in Finland?
I didn't get that.
Do we know the average height of the average Finnish male?
Yeah, is he playing against 8th graders, or is he playing against other? How many? I like to whenever I'm watching a team, it's like, well, how many players for the other team could start for the other? Who is his competition that he's playing against?
I can go Olympics. I can tell you some Olympics.
Let's hear it. I love it.
Yeah, give us a fact.
In 2017, Finland was cited as having the most Olympic medals per capita of any nation. And they've won medals in 50 consecutive Olympic Games from 1908 to 2022, a streak only exceeded by Sweden.
I'll bet you they've got quite a rivalry with Sweden.
Oh, yeah. And then Finland, they invented a unique sport such as wife carrying, swamp soccer, and boot throwing.
Do you know what are the rules of wife carrying?
You give her your credit card, and then when she comes back, you pay it off.
And
what if it's in reverse?
Pesäpallo is Finnish
Where
baseball.
can I sign up for that?
What's that called, Christian?
Pesäpallo is the Finnish baseball, and it's a fast-paced, uniquely Finnish version of baseball.
Do they play it on ice?
It's the national sport.
This is all very, very important information because
ice hockey is the most popular sport in Finland.
I think it is either that or snowball fights.
I want to know more about this boot throwing.
The boot throwing or the wife carrying?
Yeah, no, that second.
These two things should not be at the same sport either.
Fair enough.
Hall of Famer Clay Henry joining halftime. When we come back, our homework is brought to you by Flyway Brewing Company. Great place for a lunch spot in Fayetteville and a lunch meeting that will impress. Flyway Brewing Company in Fayetteville on Zion Road. Make it your next stop. All right, we're into hour number 2 of halftime after this.
Save up to $4,000 on select Buick Enclaves at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. That's $4,000 off and 4.9% financing for up to 84 months on this luxurious third-row SUV. Or drive the brand-new Buick Envista, a stylish crossover, for as low as $399 per month. These are limited-time offers. Experience the new Buick at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith or online at harryrobinson.com.
A friend is someone who knows where you came from. Someone who always shows up when you need them. Someone who's there for the good times and the challenging ones. At Shelter Insurance, our agents help design personal protection plans backed by the team J.D. Power ranked #1 in customer satisfaction among auto insurers in the Central Region 7 of the last 8 years.
Call Ted McAvoy in Van Buren or Chris Dooley in Fort Smith.
Since 1992, the Inn at the Mill has welcomed guests to experience the most unique place to stay when visiting Northwest Arkansas. Centrally located at the Johnson exit off I-49, the Inn at the Mill has established a rich tradition of comfort, convenience, and value. Whether it's the big game, business travel, a trip to Crystal Bridges, or a weekend getaway that brings you to Northwest Arkansas, the Inn at the Mill has a spacious room with ample space to spread out. And when I'm there on business, I appreciate the fast, free internet to keep me connected to work, and the laid-back European-style breakfast to start the day. Experience unique and different at the Inn at the Mill, just off I-49 at the Johnson exit. Call 479-443-1800 to make your reservation. That's 479-443-1800 or visit innatthemill.com. The Inn at the Mill, where the past meets the present.
It's sad that we live in an unsafe world, but we do. Would you be able to show the police who was at your home if something was taken? Guardtronic installs alarm systems as well as camera systems. We here at ESPN rely on our Guardtronic installed cameras to keep an eye on what's going on around our building, as many of you do. Guardtronic has been serving the River Valley for over 60 years. Call Guardtronic for a free estimate so you'll be able to show the police who the bad boys are that took your belongings. License E50.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, another round of strong to severe weather are expected. Large hail damaging winds will be the two main threats, but we can't rule out the possibility of a few tornadoes. We should see a chance of showers and storms building in. Again, those strong to severe high temperatures will be in the mid to upper 70s. Showers and thunderstorms will be intense again tonight. Overnight low 50s. I'm Sally Russell with the forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Forest Grain Incorporated, committed to setting the standard of excellence since 1936. KERX Paris Fort Smith. This is Halftime, coming at you from the Crabtree RV Studios on ESPN 95.3. Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect you.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
Don't ask me if I'm all right. What can't they dominate? And we not doing it. We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Both said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Phil Olsen and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. What's my hot dog? Let's go, man.
I have zero respect for saying no moss at halftime.
Even one Razorback. It's vintage Matt Jones. The Cinderella story is over, man. Let's go.
Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olsen and Matt Jones.
So where are you?
Well, welcome back into halftime at 12:01 in the afternoon. It's halftime on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. I'm Phil Elson. I'm in the Matt Jones home studio where, man, it is. Is it nighttime yet? Are we ready to go to bed or something?
It's very eerie outside right now. I love it. It's like some type of start to whoever your favorite author is. Like some
it's like
type of
Stephen King. Yes. Ominous would be the word.
Ominous.
Right now, that's for
Dark
sure.
and ominous tones, man. Yeah.
Calls and texts on the Lewis Automotive Group hotline come in at 877-377-6963. And blue collar Greg, Matt likes your description of wife carrying, one of the national sports of Finland.
Well, you know that I cite my work. You know I have a problem, and none of these jokes are ever mine. And if I do come up with one, I'll tell you. But we all cite in our work. We all see something, then we say it. But that was a joke I heard the other day. It said, yeah, my wife and I, we split our finances down the middle, 50-50. I give her my credit card, and then when she comes back, I pay the bill off at the end of the month. I thought it was funny.
That's ex-wife humor, too,
Yeah,
in some
just
cases.
funny. Yeah.
We'll bring on somebody who knows exactly how to keep a wife very happy because he continues to be happily married. He is the one and only Hall of Famer, Emmy Award winner, Clay Henry, who wife carrying is a sport apparently, because we had Christian Johnston yesterday, Clay. His halftime homework was just find us some information about the country of Finland, because the newest signee for Arkansas basketball, Mika Murinen, is Finnish. And I don't think there's ever been a Finnish basketball player at Arkansas. So we had some things to learn about. And wife carrying, swamp soccer, and boot throwing are unique sports that Finland has invented.
You know, you mentioned Jean Ann, my wife, 47 years. So we made a deal just before we got married. I would make all the major decisions. She could make the minor decisions. Guess what? We haven't got to a major decision yet.
Mm-hmm. So there's a guy named Larry McCarkin who plays for the Utah Jazz. He's the most famous basketball player from Finland, and his nickname is the Finisher.
The Finisher. That's like the mailman.
I like it. Yeah, a little Karl Malone.
I mean, that's got to be the easiest sort of call for Chuck next season. When Mika Murinen throws it down, which he's going to do at 7 feet.
Who's going to lead the team in dunks next year if Malik Ewing doesn't come back? Probably this guy right here, right?
Well, you need a rim runner, right? You need a rim finisher, and here you have one.
I love it.
In Mika Murinen. Hey, Clay, how are you, man?
I'm good. Couldn't be better. I tell you what, though, I almost slept right through the show.
Oh, he's going to admit this the first thing. He's actually going to tell everybody this.
It's a perfect day for a nap. How is
it's
the
dark
weather?
And cloudy in Norfolk.
That's how it is right here.
I was in my easy chair taking care of some details, and like, you know what? I just closed my. This is probably about 11:30. I closed my eye for 10 minutes, and my phone went off. It was a thumb dial, a random call by my buddy Lewis Campbell. He woke me up at 11:58. Thank goodness for Lewis. And I got the Comrex plugged in, and I'm here.
That's
and
great.
I'm refreshed.
And all you had to do was just wake up and look to the side, and there's your equipment, and you can just do it. It's a little different than I was almost late to a baseball game, the first team I was calling games for, because I slept through an alarm. This was way past, I'm past the point of that because I don't even need alarms anymore.
Me neither.
But yeah, I had like 30 minutes before the game starts, and the general manager of the team calls me in Utah. Where are you? Oh, I guess I was asleep. Yeah, it's a good thing they didn't fire me. Would have been a fireable offense. Missing a game. I don't think you're supposed to do that.
That's a no-no right there. Being late. What's the old saying? If you're not 10 minutes early, you're late.
Yeah. Well, if you don't get there, you don't work there anymore.
I had 2 minutes and I pulled it off.
You're like Swagger though, the book Swagger, Clay. I know you've read that one. If Coach Johnson saw you napping, he'd just come over and elbow you and say, "Hey, wake up!" Now, if they caught me napping, I'd be cut the next day.
Yeah, I remember he came in for a Procter and Gamble promotion, one of the spring games, where they had those tents set out with all the, the kiddie jumps and everything. They used to do that out in Lot 44 and have all the stuff for kids. It was kind of a spring game festival. They did a little bit of that. We had Justin Moore sing Saturday, but Jimmy came in and signed autographs. But he met with the team. Houston Nutt. Were you in that group where he met with y'all, Matt?
Years ago, yeah. Jimmy Johnson came and talked to us. Yep.
And so I asked him what he said to the players, and he said I talked to them about what they had in the bank, what they put in the bank. And he wasn't talking about NIL money back in those days. He was talking about your substance, like what are you worth to the team? Like are you a player? Are you a guy that does your job in practice and then performs in the game? Or you stay out of trouble? What do you have in the bank with the head coach? Mm. And he says that the more you have in the bank with the head coach, the better deals that you got. In other words, you might miss a practice, you might cut this. If you're worth something, the head coach going to look the other way. So I guess that's the way Jimmy did it. Your value to the team means something to the head coach.
Then there's some moments where if you sleep in and you miss the start of a practice, there's a coach that's going to make an example out of you.
Ooh. Mark Pierce, one
depends
of my
on who
favorite
you
teammates. Yep, he missed a practice, and so he was a little late to practice. It was spring practice, Clay, and so he showed up like 30. We'd already done our stretching and done stuff. So he got to do bear crawls and running the whole practice. Yeah, it was like, ooh, don't do that.
But see, I don't think they would have done that to Darren McFadden.
You know what? I think they might have. You might be onto something right there, Clay. You might be onto something.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been. Well, he was excused for that. Head coach knew.
Dean Weber would have went and got him. That's right. He'd have
Yeah.
said, D-Mac, what? Come on, let's go.
Well, but here's the thing: Darren never did that.
That's right. That's the truth.
He wouldn't have ever done anything to get to.
You didn't really have a lot of guys. I mean, you see one. That's like the one I can remember. And you might have a guy. There wasn't like no shows, don't tell, no show. Or that's just a big no with those guys.
I see most of the guys that they might miss a class. They didn't miss practice. Practice was important to them. Class wasn't so important to some of the guys.
Somebody that doesn't treat practice like it's serious is not somebody that
Not a
is
good
going to
player.
engender a lot of respect amongst his teammates, or preparing for every week or every game, whatever it is, you got to be ready for. And so, but that's also obvious to people. If somebody's not ready for first pitch or for kickoff or for
The
tip-off,
radio show.
it's obvious though at that point. You can tell. And so I wouldn't ask about names or anything like that, because I remember moments where you'd be around a baseball clubhouse and you see the way that somebody might like shove something in their bag. They was like, well, what's going on? I was like, we're not looking for anything. I'm not like looking through your bag. I'm not looking through anything. It's like, well, what's going on here? There would be things that would be a little clue that somebody's thinking, well, this guy's got syringes in his, what is he using? That's what I'm getting at. And I just kind of wonder sometimes about in a locker room scenario, if there are, this guy over here is gambling and he's got a problem with it, and it can affect the way he's getting ready for this game, for this sport, or maybe, I wonder if this guy's actually, we'll make jokes about an official that he's got money on it. And I wonder sometimes if you might have a teammate that you might wonder about every once in a while. And again, I wouldn't ask about names, but you just kind of look at somebody with a jaundiced eye and wonder if something's going on. That's what I wonder about this situation with Sorsby. Did Texas Tech do any real due diligence on somebody that they should have done? It's different from bringing Jonas Adu and he shows up with an injured foot. Did you really do? Did he undergo proper, physical, really, or was it just let's grease it through because we need this guy? Do you do proper due diligence if somebody's got a gambling problem for the last 4 years and the last school had knowledge of it?
That might be a little easier to conceal, I think. But you can tell stuff maybe at the end of the season. I would use Coach Muss's last year as an example. Those last 4 or 5 games, you could tell he wasn't really in it. Like, we're giving up just a lot of easy baskets, not blocking out on free throw. But I think it's because he
Body language.
Yeah, I think he was already gone. And the same thing with our new coach that Coach Silverfield, his last couple games at Memphis, I don't think they would have lost those games if he didn't already know. I do think there's some of that going on, but I wasn't privy or hip enough to tell if somebody was gambling on that.
Well,
game, yeah.
so what's Texas Tech going to do? They can't call Cincinnati. What are they going to get from Cincinnati? It's
You're right.
Like they're in the process of suing the guy.
Yeah, when you're in the process of bringing in somebody from high school, you can talk to those coaches.
Yeah,
they're going to be honest with you.
They're stealing that guy from Cincinnati. There's no doubt.
Cincinnati and Indiana, you have to be 21 to make a bet on these sites. He wasn't 21 on any of those yet either. So that's another whole aspect to it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that probably was under the radar a little bit.
We're a product of our environments too, Clay. When you're around alphas and the guys making this type of money, and a lot of times it's people are making this type of money and they've never made any type of money like this before, and so they do something. They're living. It's the same concept as all the Georgia football players get speeding tickets. They're all doing something to give them whatever that rush is that you get when you comes to playing those 11, 12, 13 games a year.
877-377-6963 to call or text on our Lewis Automotive Group hotline. We have Clay for the next couple of hours. No guests in this 12 o'clock hour. Bill King, Nashville Sports Radio at about 1:15. And here is Charlie the Tuna. Good afternoon, Charlie. What's going on?
At some point, guys, as I continue to grow with you guys, I don't know how much more that'll be, but I love it. I hope to be considered a guest, Phil. I don't know how you'll say it. Well, this is our guy right here, the Tuna. I guess he's a guest at this point. we've dealt with him long enough. I mean, Matt, what do you think? I mean, can I be a guest on you guys?
That's the regular tuna?
Yeah. Just a regular old tuna. How you doing, Clay?
That's a B-side.
I'm fine. I mean, you're our 12-10 guy.
We put out a APP alert for
mean,
you whenever when you don't show up on. Yeah, we're kind of looking.
It's like
where the
when you're at Baum Stadium and it 6:42 the train comes by. Phil knows it's coming by.
It's called clockwork. Yes.
Well,
Clockwork
there you go.
Orange for the unit.
Guys, I wonder. I was thinking about Cal and how he's almost kind of turned us into a lot of people calling him 5-star U these past few days or whatever, weeks or whatever. I wonder if it's when these kids are coming out of high school, and Clay, you can correct. I'm sure you're going to correct me because I always need to be corrected. But when these kids are coming out of high school, is it as much of a bidding war for those kids as it might be some of these older guys? Because I'm wondering if Cal is like, man, we keep striking out on all these older vets. We're not going to bid war with them. Like, I'm just going to go get more 5-stars. I wonder if that is kind of what has went through his head. What do you guys think on that? Because, I mean, Clay, what do you think? I mean, is it like he's just like, you know what, forget it. I'm not going to keep fighting with these older players. We're going to go get 5-stars.
Here's what I think he found. He still has the comfort level of coaching younger college players, but at the same time, look, he's not putting together a whole team of freshmen. It just feels like that right now. You're not going to have 7 or 8 freshmen. They're still going to be bringing in older players, and you still do. You got Jeremiah Wilkinson, you got Cooper Bowser. There's going to be another 1 or 2 that round it out. But it is obvious here that Cal is more comfortable, and I think not just comfortable in how you might get along with these younger players, but also coaching them to where they're his kids now. And they haven't been, this isn't the right word to use, tainted by another college coach that's had their fingers on that player's development. Now, there's a lot of other coaches that have had their fingers on these players' development before they even show up at Arkansas as freshmen, but he's been dealing with that for all these years, even all those years at Kentucky. It's just the difference now is coaching a player like Malik Ewan, who was on his 4th team, and Nick Pringle, 4th team in 4 years. That's the difference. And so, Cooper Bowser, this is just going to be a 2nd team. Where did Wilkinson play before? Is it just Georgia?
I can't remember if he played anywhere else.
I'd be interested to see, like, throughout the rest of Cal's tenure here, or at least whoever comes up now, how many teams these next players have played for, if it's 2 or 3 or if it's just 1.
I mean, I always wondered that too. Like, I was thinking about that the other day. We were talking about that during the NFL draft. You had the kid, I don't remember, was it Bailey or one of the pass rushers that he had been on like 4 teams. And I wonder, when you're drafting these kids, like Matt, like, do you got to have those conversations with them, right? Like, you transferred 4 times. Like, look, there's no rules. I get all that. We can do whatever we want nowadays, but like, what's the deal there? Are you going to be committed to us or what? What's going on? It's a little, I mean, when you go to the NFL, you're there. Especially if you're in the 1st round, like, you're pretty much trapped, especially if they put the 5th-year option on you. Like, so you just ain't, I don't like what's going on. I'm just going to leave anymore. It's not how it works. So I just wonder on that. I'm not knocking these kids' characters because, like I said, I think there is so many different people in their ear, and they're listening to them. Now, there were some questions about this guy. Is it from Finland, right? I've heard some people on Twitter talking about him and his attitude and this and that. Well, guess what? We've heard some of the same stuff with Darius Acuff. I am not worried about Cal when it comes to, getting young players. There may be some rough patches early because there was last year. You guys remember the game we were down like 6 with like 2 minutes left? And it's a game it shouldn't have been that situation, but we found a way to win. And he figured it out as the year went along. And I think we'll see a similar situation. We all know Cal's teams are going to get better and better and better. So anyways, y'all have a go.
Thank you, Charlie.
It just seems like he has a feel for these players that he's recruited for a number of years, that he's been involved with. And he keeps saying they're good kids. And if they're not, we don't take them. And I think that if he can recruit them over a 2-year period and has had enough contact with mom and dad and probably the agent, that he knows what he's getting. And with the portal, and they go in the portal, and then you get to make a decision. Unless you had prior recruiting history with that guy, and sometimes you do, it's a little bit of a crapshoot to really know, is he a good kid? You know, why is this guy at 4 schools? Well, you know, maybe he took a step up every time, both financially and the level of play. You know, I think that without question, Nick Pringle was a good kid. He was.
I like Nick Pringle.
Yeah, I think he had a back injury that plagued him all year. He hurt it around Christmas time, and you know, the people that were around the team, and I could give you names of people that I've gotten this from. I'm not going to do it, but when he wasn't playing basketball, he was in a back brace and trying to relieve, you know, the pressure, whatever it is, you know, whether it was a disc or something. But he didn't come hurt. He got hurt after he was here, but it definitely affected his play, and I think it weakened his hamstrings, and because of his, you know, lack of work, you know, it's hard for him to practice. So that's just bad luck, and it was bad luck on Thero. You know, when he got hurt. You know, I don't think that the last 2 teams are indicative of what kind of defense Cal's going to play. Well, maybe the team 2 years ago was. They played defense.
Well, it's looking, Clay, I don't know. Phil played a clip in the first hour about one of the guys talking about this Razorback basketball team and talent. If all the guys that are here, and Malik Thomas and Billy Richmond come back, that's 9 guys that can be in the rotation. Is Malik Sealy? I mean, is Sealy coming back? You know,
yeah, he is.
We're going to have 2 groups of 5 practice to be better.
Semino's back. Yeah,
I'd love if this really is true, and I think at least one, if not both, Malik Thomas and Billy Richmond to come back. Man, that's a solid. I think we'll have more depth this next year.
Well, there's also another player that they're going after hard. His name is Obina Ezeki. He's a
stud.
Well, so he's also a potential reclassification candidate, which means he would show up on campus this next season as a 5th big-time freshman.
I can say 5th Beetle. Who the Beatles unit?
Well, who are the 5 freshmen at Arkansas? That should be the same thing. 877-377-6963. Lewis Automotive Group hotline. Teams getting younger, rest of the sports getting older for the moment, because it does look like this 5-and-5 rule that the NCAA wants to pass very well may pass. And there is some breaking news involving Arkansas athletics. Gymnastics coach Jordan Weber has announced she is stepping down. They went to the
she won a gold medalist, didn't she?
She did win a gold medal at the Olympics, but they were at the semifinals this last year, the NCAA semifinals. So I don't remember her name, but they're one of the top gymnasts. Just went into the transfer portal, so she
Roberson, yeah.
She just had information about
she
this
was
too.
On the Olympic team, was an alternate the last Olympics. Yeah.
All right.
Is it Jocelyn Robertson?
That's right. That's the name. Mm-hmm.
And she's a stud. She's really good. Yeah, she. You know, set records in the beam and the floor. I mean, she was really talented. She's in the portal. Yep.
Well, we'll have to react to that in a moment. The Fence Man can get you a fence that stands out and stands strong. If you call the Fence Man, they serve the Fort Smith area and our entire listening area for over 40 years, building custom one-of-a-kind fences, residential, commercial, high security. Looking for automatic gates? The Fence Man does it. And 18-month financing is also available at the Fence Man. TheFenceManAR.com, 479-782-3936 for the Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. We'll be back in a moment. This is Halftime.
Lewis Automotive, celebrating over 80 years since 1946. No pressure, no hassle, just tradition. The challenge is over, but the deals aren't. Come take advantage of the thank you event only at Lewis Automotive. Previously on Halftime.
It's just going to drip.
I'd worry about playing 32 minutes a game. Now you're going to be playing 8.
Do that. Yeah. Well,
I would worry about your attitude. It's hard.
Matt, his attitude is 500,000. That's his attitude.
That's what we got. All right.
That's a whole new attitude now, isn't it?
Have a new Silverado.
He's playing all the video games he wants.
Subscribe to the Eastside Liquor Halftime Podcast and listen wherever you get your podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, and share.
Take your dining to a whole new level at Blue Point Seafood and Steak Restaurant. You'll find the finest cuts of steak and the freshest seafood in an amazing atmosphere. Blue Point Seafood and Steak Restaurant is at Chaffee Crossing, across from the Arkansas Colleges of Health Education on Chad Colley Drive. When your night deserves the best, call 597-4081 for reservations or book online at Toast. Blue Point Seafood and Steak Restaurant, your destination for not only great food, but an amazing experience.
Hello, this is Sebastian County Assessor Zach Johnson here to remind you to assess your personal property by May 31st to avoid late penalty. You can do this in person at one of our 3 locations, over the phone, or online by going to www.countyservice.net. I would also like to remind any current homeowners or any individuals buying their homes on contract to contact our office and check on your eligibility for the homestead tax credit. Contact us today to see if you qualify. The homestead tax credit could save you up to $600 off your tax bill.
This ad sponsored by the Sebastian County Assessor and paid for by Amendment 79.
The Solid Rock will soon be celebrating 50 years as a locally owned source for inspirational gifts. From greeting cards and women's boutique items to custom laser engraving and a large selection of Bibles, they offer something for everyone. While you are there, browse their faith-based books, music, clothing, home decor, and unique, hard-to-find treasures for the whole family. And their Bibles are engraved free of charge while you wait. Located next to Sam's Club on South 74th, The Solid Rock. Share the spirit, enjoy the inspiration. 452-4844.
This is Daryl Johnston with Hashtag Managed IT Services. We are excited to now be part of AAA Business Systems. Hashtag will continue to handle every IT need your business will have, and now, as part of AAA Business Systems, we can handle all of your document printing and storage solutions. Together, we have the expertise to meet all of your office technology needs. Find us online at aaabm.com or call us at 471-1771.
Smalls here. If you're heading into summer without a medical emergency kit, you're taking a risk most people don't think about until it's too late. Summer colds can turn into sinus infections that last weeks, ruining your perfect vacation getaway. And when you're traveling, finding a doctor and a pharmacy, it's stressful. That's why I ordered a medical emergency kit. It's like having an urgent care and a pharmacy at home. It includes prescriptions like amoxicillin and generic Z-Pak to treat a wide range of illnesses. So if you wake up sick, at home, or on the road, you have what you need. No waiting for your doctor, no hours at urgent care, and no pharmacy lines. Also, no copays. Match your symptoms to the right prescription in your guidebook or call their telemedicine doctor. Start meds sooner and feel better faster. Every home needs a medical emergency kit, so order yours online in minutes. It's shipped right to your door. Save $45 with my promo code SMALLS at urgentcarekit.com/smalls. That's promo code SMALLS at urgentcarekit.com/smalls. Prescription required. Always consult your doctor to determine if this product is right for you.
Harry Robinson Salisol Ford wants to buy or trade for your vehicle today, and they will give you top dollar. Pre-owned car values are at historic all-time highs, and your car today is worth more than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Salisol Ford, and they'll give you more than any other dealer. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they'll still buy yours. Harry Robinson Salisol Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off I-40 in Salisol.
The Hit That Line Now app is ready for you to download from the Apple and Google Play stores. Sponsored by Taco Bell. Live Moss.
When you get the rhythm and the sound make you cool. When they break it down, then it's really song and roll. Hands up, you're working it, and then get yourself together. When you call the dominoes down, it's time to go.
Find Halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith and the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Join the conversation. Call or text 877-377-6963. All guests join us on the Lewis Automotive Hotline, serving Northwest Arkansas for over 80 years. Since 1946. No pressure, no hassle, just tradition. The challenge is over, but the deals aren't. Come take advantage of the thank you event only at Lewis Automotive. Now back to the hosts. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Assistant coach Chris Brooks will now take over as the head coach for Arkansas gymnastics. This is an announcement from Hunter Yurichek's Twitter. He says, bittersweet day for Razorback gymnastics. So proud and thankful for Jordan and what she has meant to our program, and now looking forward to seeing our program continue the positive momentum under Coach Brooks. Yeah, that's interesting, because this was a high-profile hire when Jordan signed her name to the paper. I mean, get a legend essentially to take over as your head coach. And I'm not sure if they had the kind of success that was necessarily hoped for, but it was still a program that competed at a good level in the SEC, was annually in the NCAA tournament, and would advance past the first round, just like they did this past year. These are two big announcements in the last couple of weeks of Olympic sports where things are obviously changing to a certain degree. There's no more men's or women's tennis. And it's like there can be multiple reasons why an Olympic gold medalist decides after 7 years to no longer be the head coach at Arkansas. And, man, I'd be interested to see what her next step is, if she keeps her coaching career going, if there's another stop for her, or if there's something else for her to be doing. I just thought that they were really putting a little energy and promotion into gymnastics. This was the first or second year that every meet was at Bud Walton Arena. They've marketed the program a lot. They do get big crowds for those events. So I'm not really sure what to make of this. It could just be a regular resigning, Clay, Matt, or there could be something else that this means.
Well, this is the third kind of bombshell change. You had Chris Bucknam who retired and was still really successful. I mean, whether they would have won the national championship if he'd been still the head coach or Doug Case, but definitely recruited the foundation for that national championship team. Then you have the canning of the tennis program. By the way, a lot of the alums, a lot of the tennis lettermen, they're organizing petitions. They're doing FOIs. I mean, they're digging, trying to figure out what they can do to, maybe endow the program and bring it back. There's no sign that will be allowed.
Yeah, that's the thing I wondered about.
They haven't given up. They haven't given up.
It's so there's the one side of it where it sounds like there's people that have the connections and the money to keep that program afloat. Maybe even more money than it had been getting before. But then you have to have a receptive side, the athletic department, to actually say, yeah, we'll do this with you. And it didn't sound like that athletics is interested in keeping tennis. Really, that's what the press release made it sound like.
When you say athletics, let's just be clear. It doesn't sound like Hunter Yurichek is interested in that. I mean, that's his decision. He made it. It's on him. I think that's exclusively an athletic department decision. I think that the chancellor signed off on it, but it's like, it sure seems like the athletic director was challenged to find the money for their part of what's needed to answer the challenge from the Board of Trustees to come up with X number for football.
All in for football is what it's called, right?
Yep. And I think that's what that's the tennis program, and it's not NIL money. That money cannot, the $2.5 million they say from tennis, it can't go to NIL. You can't put it in the revenue share. That money is already there. You can't add to what they're giving football players. I've heard somebody say, well, that 2.5 will buy you 2 players. No, you can't buy money. You can't buy players with the tennis money. The school cannot fund NIL. That has to come from outside. So
is there also a line to draw from the news of the last 2 days of gymnastics, where you've lost an Olympic, you've lost a current Olympian, and an Olympic gold medalist as the head coach, for however much money Roberson may have been getting paid for gymnastics, and I'm assuming there was some, but probably minuscule compared to the major sports, that generate
football
a lot of money,
right?
But every little bit counts. And so I don't know what Coach Brooks will be making, but it's not going to be the same that Jordan Weber was making. That's just my guess. Every little bit counts, but these are tiny little bits compared to the largesse of what you need for college football. But that's also, if every little bit counts, these are little bits that will count towards quote unquote all in for football, right?
I can't answer that. I can't say that they're all related. They might be. It sure makes you wonder about it, but I wouldn't be prepared to answer that question, Phil.
It's just something I'm wondering. 877-377-6963 for the Lewis Automotive Group hotline.
Want to know.
Well, and I think there are people who, it's like you said, if the tennis alums are using FOIA laws, well, you can rest assured that there are journalists that are already doing the very same thing to try to find some answers on this, because it's not just about tennis. I think that's now obvious, and it's probably obvious before the news about gymnastics even comes out here. It's about the entire athletic department. When they say all in for football, they're not talking about you, the fan. They're talking about the university as a whole. That's what it seems like, right?
Well,
and hey, get the thing right. But if it's, hey, start winning games then. If you're going to cut sports and maybe not putting as much money into some of the other sports, I hope it leads to football wins, because that means the rising boat brings all the rising tides raises every single boat. Then
that's what I was going to say, and you did it probably better than I. And the fundraising for football takes center stage. They've got to continue to do a better job of promoting their fundraising arms, which is the Razorback Foundation, and then it's, what is it, Link U now?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think fans know where to send their money. I don't think that they have done a good enough job accessing their email
Tell you what, if Arkansas beats Utah the second week of the season, they'll find the link to go donate money. If you get off to a good start somehow in the Ryan Silverfield era and you have a good September, they might not know where to find the link you right now, but they'll go find it themselves. But I think they'll be waiting until then.
I think you can go back in history and see that. The 98 season when Houston Nutt arrived, and they'd just come off back-to-back 4-7 with Danny Ford, and they won their first 7 or 8 games. I don't remember what it was before they lost at Tennessee, and they were in the top 10. Coach Broyles made the decision to expand the stadium, and there was no shortage of money to do that. And when football wins, the money comes in.
I got to tell you about Modular Orange. If you run a small business and you don't have a professional website, you need to check out Modular Orange. This is not a do-it-yourself website. You won't have to mess around with anything. They are based in Fayetteville, and they build websites for business owners all across the state. Now, the best part, Modular Orange can write, design, build, and maintain your website for $95 a month with zero upfront costs or design fees. So you don't have to fight with a website. You can focus on what you do best, which is serve your customers and grow your business. Modular Orange can also help with AI search like ChatGPT, Gemini as well. It'll make sure that your business shows up where people are looking. ModularOrange.com, 479-755-3043 for Modular Orange. Back in a moment, this date in Razorback history and much more on Halftime.
Look out! You know that was coming.
This is Halftime.
Smalls here. If you're heading into summer without a medical emergency kit,
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacale.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouth. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
From sauce to dust to nuggets. Diablo dusted crispy chicken nuggets. No, they don't come in mild. That would make, like, 0 sense with the name. Or the whole explosion thing we just did. New Diablo-dusted crispy chicken nuggets. A brand new classic. Only at Taco Bell.
Lewis Automotive has been serving Northwest Arkansas for over 75 years and just getting started.
Our knowledgeable sales team is here to find you the perfect vehicle to fit not only your lifestyle, but also your budget.
Our factory-trained service technicians keep your vehicle running at optimal level.
And if you're looking for genuine parts and accessories, our team has exactly what you need.
Relax in our comfortable lounge, and when your car's ready, we'll return it to you spotless.
Thank you for being a part of our story.
Come see us at Lewis Automotive Group, where you're more than a customer, you're family.
If your Razorback closet needs an upgrade, the University of Arkansas Game Day Collection is what you are looking for. Only at Roback.com. They have brand new Arkansas hoodies and polos that are selling fast. Go to Roback.com to check out their new apparel. That's Roback.com. RHOBACK.com. Use the code RUSH26 for 20% off your first order. Roback, where action meets comfort.
David Bowie got more fame with his #1 hit titled Fame. John Lennon co-wrote and sounded some of the high notes. The last line in the first verse sums it up. Fame puts you there where things are hollow. John 12:43 tells us that many people rejected Jesus because they loved the fame of people more than the praise of God. Is it any wonder you get more fame by rejecting the name of Jesus? I'm Pastor E. from Woodland. Think about it.
Hello, this is Sebastian County Assessor Zach Johnson here to remind you to assess your personal property by May 31st to avoid late penalty. You can do this in person at one of our 3 locations, over the phone, or online by going to www.countyservice.net. I would also like to remind any current homeowners or any individuals buying their homes on contract to contact our office and check on your eligibility for the homestead tax credit. Contact us today to see if you qualify. The homestead tax credit could save you up to $600 off your tax bill.
So I had pain in my feet for a good 20 years.
It felt like I was standing on marbles.
Something wasn't working with my feet. Was diagnosed with plantar fasciitis.
If your feet aren't comfortable, the rest of the body suffers.
So I went into the Good Feet store and bam. They wanted to make sure that they gave me the right arch support.
You put in the arch supports. To me, it was almost miraculous.
It really brought me back to being able to be me.
I can run, I can walk. This is not something that you could solve online.
Reclaim the good life with a free arch support fitting at the Good Feet store. Good feet, good life.
ESPN 95.3.
Make sure to follow Halftime on X at Hit That Line AR and on Facebook and Instagram at Hit That Line. Call or text 877-377-6963. All guests join us on the Lewis Automotive Hotline, serving Northwest Arkansas for over 80 years. Lewis Automotive, serving drivers since 1946 and built on a tradition of trust. Enjoy the music you hear on Halftime. Of course you do. Our halftime playlist is brought to you by Bath Makeover of Arkansas. Bath Makeover of Arkansas is making your dreams come true with a brand new bathtub or shower. It's spring. Time to get the brand new bathroom you've always wanted. Plus, for those who qualify, 0% financing. Let's get back to the show with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
And Hall of Famer Clay Henry with us on halftime, and it's time now for This Week in Razorback History, brought to you by our friends at the Good Feet store. Talking about greatness in college athletics, John McDonnell at the University of Arkansas rises above the rest. For 36 years, from 72 to 2008, he built the Razorbacks into a dynasty in cross country and track field. Not just a great program, the standard. 40 NCAA national championships, more than any coach in any sport in NCAA history. 19 indoor titles, 10 outdoor, 11 in cross country. 5 times his team swept all 3 in a single year for the Triple Crown. Unmatched conference dominance. His Hogs won 84 league titles and strung together a jaw-dropping 34 consecutive conference championships in cross-country. John McDonald's legacy, of course, goes beyond trophies. He developed 185 All-Americans, over 100 NCAA individual champions, and coached 23 Olympians, turning Arkansas into a global force in distance running. National Coach of the Year 30 times. John McDonald didn't just build champions, he defined excellence and built one of the greatest legacies in sports history. Our friends at the Good Feet Store bring you this date in Razorback history. I tell you about the Good Feet Store a lot. I still have my Good Feet arch supports and the shoes that I'm wearing right now. I won't take them out unless I put another pair of shoes on. Then I'm just going to take the Good Feet arch supports out of those shoes, put them in the other shoes. They work in all your shoes. The Good Feet arch supports were personalized. They feature a personalized fitting. You can get at either of their 2 locations, either in Rogers, right across from Topgolf next to Hideaway Pizza, or in Fayetteville across from Walmart on Mall Avenue. You just walk in. Doesn't take very much time. You don't even need to make any appointments. Put you through a little walk-around test, and then you get personally fitted for Good Feet arch supports. And these helped me with my plantar fasciitis, ankle, and knee pain. Might be able to help you out, too. You can learn more at goodfeet.com. So here's more on Jordan Weber stepping down from Arkansas Gymnastics. I had forgotten the name of her husband. I knew she was married to one of the coaches, and it is the new head coach. Coach Brooks, Chris Brooks, is the new head coach.
Yeah, they're not going anywhere.
His wife, Jordan Weber, just stepped down.
Oh, is it like Bruce Pearl?
It's a little different, though, yeah.
She's going to be a stay-at-home mom. You know, that's what
it's a little different than the Bruce Pearl thing, in which that was just like, you know what, I'm going to find a way to get this university to hire my son. So I'm just going to retire a week before the season starts or before practice starts. This feels like something that would have been, what would the word be? It was formulated a while back. I mean, this is a plan you put into motion a while ago, and then there's a natural ascension.
How cool is that,
assistant.
though, to be able to coach with your partner? You know, wouldn't that be pretty cool, I guess?
There's some I've seen that in women's basketball where there have been some
Doesn't Coach Music have her husband is? No.
He was at Oral Roberts.
Oh, okay. I thought that was. See, I was
Mike Collin had his wife was on staff, and
right, and then she goes on to be a head coach in the WNBA. And Mike Neighbors had J.C. Stone on staff
that's where
too.
I was going to.
J.C. was just hired as an assistant at Kansas.
Well, Coach Cal has his son. Coach Muss had his son. Mm-hmm. Coach Belichick has his son. You know,
the father-son deals are pretty common.
Yeah,
you got the most celebrated now is the coach in waiting down at Houston, Kelvin Sampson's son, and Bruce Pearl's son took over. Yeah, that happens in father-son deals a lot.
What do you think on how Bruce Pearl's son did in that first year, Clay? I mean, in the SEC, do you think he'll be the coach for the Auburn Tigers for the foreseeable future?
He didn't have a good year.
Yeah.
They were disappointed. I mean, they finished in they had a few high water marks, like the victory over Arkansas, and I think a victory over Florida.
They did win Florida. They did win a tournament. You think they're putting up a banner for the NIT?
Probably not.
I would. You won a tournament. There would be a thing up there. Auburn celebrates everything, right? They're celebrating national championships from the 30s. So yeah,
that are fake.
Yeah, absolutely, they will.
Well, so this changes the. See, here's the thing. You can make any announcement about any Olympic sport at Arkansas, and people are going to now look at it from the perspective of tennis being cut. And it's all about cutting money and getting to football. As we just had a conversation about that with this news of and again, I should have known this, so that's on me, but I'd forgotten the name of her husband. I knew that she had worked with him. I'm thinking, she's going on to do something else. They're not leaving. She's staying. She's going to be a mom. And
she is a mom.
Well, she's going to be a stay-home mom.
Yeah.
Or I guess, or that's
what it is. Yeah.
So this is the kind of thing that is so different than Bruce Pearl and Stephen Pearl. This is something that is choreographed months ago, when the decision was probably made either before the season started or sometime during the season. And then, you go to the athletic director and say, this is what we would like to do. Are you amenable to this? So this is completely different. I can't even imagine that Bruce Pearl would have ever told anybody at Auburn, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to bring a team together, and then I'm quitting a week before they start practice. This is choreographed. But it's also in the wake, and you got to make these announcements now and everything, and it sucks that Roberson's transferring away, but this obviously goes along with that news. But any kind of news of anybody leaving for any other Olympic sport is now taken in the context of tennis being cut, correct?
Or they're cutting your program in favor of football.
Right.
That's the guess on everything, because like you say, they're all in on football. They funded gymnastics at a decent level. And there's a few programs that are funded better in the SEC, but they're funded in a healthy way.
877-377-6963 for the Lewis Automotive Group hotline. We tell you about Crabtree RV Center a lot, and they've been doing it in the River Valley in Northwest Arkansas for over 75 years and counting at the junction of I-40 and I-49 in Alma. They're going to help you find the perfect RV, and you will find the best RV purchasing experience at Crabtree RV Center, plus personalized financing, top-of-the-line parts and service department where you made your purchase. Learn more at CrabtreeRV.com. Crabtree RV Center, making your dreams come true. Back in a moment to wrap up hour number 2. This is Halftime.
Jane Block, and off top, 0. Good needs over the top of Finney Smith.
This is Halftime.
The Bush Guide, cold and smooth survival skills. For a successful stint in the great outdoors, pack accordingly. Place heavy essentials near your spine for stability in rough terrain, with light items near the bottom. Now, you may be wondering, where does the Bush Light go? In your stomach. Head for the mountains. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2023, Anheuser-Busch, Bush Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hi, I'm Dr. Cole Johnson with River Valley Smile Center. If you're struggling with missing teeth or tired of loose, uncomfortable dentures, I want you to know there's a better option. With full arch dental implants, we can create a smile that's strong, secure, and looks completely natural. These aren't traditional dentures. They're fixed in place with implants, so they don't slip or cause pain. You can speak, eat, and smile with confidence like you're used to. I've seen firsthand how life-changing this solution can be for our patients. It's why I love what I do. Give us a call at 479-646-0706 or visit rivervalleysmiles.com. Let's rebuild your smile together.
This is Bruce Stanton, Vice President and General Manager of Pradco Fishing in Fort Smith. If you're going to do some cold water bass fishing, you need to be using the Umbrella Flash Mob Jr. It's the best lure for duplicating a small school of shad and can be worked from the top of the water column to the bottom. Whether you're trying to win a bass tournament or whoop up on a bunch of white bass and stripers, the Umbrella Flash Mob Jr. will catch them. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place, the Umbrella Flash Mob Jr.
Looking for a career with a company built to last? At Forsgren, we've been shaping the future of the River Valley since 1936. Nearly 90 years of excellence, innovation, and family-driven leadership. From sidewalks that still stand today to major infrastructure projects across the region, our legacy is built on quality and community. Apply now at GoForsgren.com. Join the Forsgren legacy, where your work becomes part of something lasting. Forsgren, building the foundation of the River Valley for 4 generations. Apply now at GoForsgren.com.
The Solid Rock will soon be celebrating 50 years as a locally owned source for inspirational gifts. From greeting cards and women's boutique items to custom laser engraving and a large selection of Bibles, they offer something for everyone. While you are there, browse their faith-based books, music, clothing, home decor, and unique, hard-to-find treasures for the whole family. And their Bibles are engraved free of charge while you wait. Located next to the Sam's Club on South 74th, The Solid Rock. Share the spirit, enjoy the inspiration. 452-4844.
Brew Pig Suey is coming back to Baum Walker Stadium this spring. The annual Arkansas Razorbacks Brew Pig Suey Beer Festival makes its triumphant return to Razorback baseball on Saturday, May 2nd. There will be 25-plus breweries, local food trucks, and a live DJ that will highlight this festive event. Pre-game festival passes are just $30 and come with a tasting cup and unlimited pours. Secure yours today at ArkansasRazorbacks.com.
Arkansas, it's time to team up and clean up. Celebrate America's 250th birthday by joining in on the greatest American cleanup. Happening now through May 31st. From picking up trash to planting wildflowers, there's so much you can do to keep Arkansas beautiful. Organize a cleanup event to make a real impact and earn volunteer hours if you're a student. Visit keeparkansasbeautiful.com to register your event, request a volunteer kit, and get inspired. Brought to you by Keep Arkansas Beautiful, this station, and the Arkansas Broadcasters Association.
Dozy Place has been serving award-winning steaks for over 20 years, and now they're offering smoked prime rib on the weekends. It's a limited supply, so get your reservations in early. Try one of their delicious appetizers or your choice of drinks from the area's largest selection of wine, beer, and liquor. Dozy Place open Tuesday through Thursday 5 to 9 and Friday and Saturday 5 till 10. Reservations are recommended. Follow them on Facebook for more upcoming features and events. Call 479-784-9111 for Dozy Place, 422 North 3rd Street in Fort Smith.
Lewis Automotive, celebrating over 80 years since 1946. No pressure, no hassle, just tradition. The challenge is over, but the deals aren't. Come take advantage of the thank you event only at Lewis Automotive.
Finland, Finland, Finland. The country where I want to be, pony trekking or camping, or just watching TV. Finland, Finland, Finland. It's the country for me. You're so near to Russia.
Welcome back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Got a question or comment for the guys? Call or text 877-377-6963. All guests join us on the Lewis Automotive Hotline. Lewis Automotive, celebrating over 80 years since 1946. No pressure, no hassle, just tradition. The challenge is over, but the deals aren't. Come take advantage of the thank you event only at Lewis Automotive. Now let's get back to halftime with the voice of Arkansas Razorback baseball, Phil Elson, and Arkansas football legend, Matt Jones.
I have known this song for the last 35 years. I've been a fan of Monty Python for almost my entire life. I literally never thought I'd ever be playing that at a sports show. But we did, because Mika Murinen is going to be an Arkansas Razorback, and he's Finnish. Has there ever been any other Finnish athletes at the University of Arkansas? Oh, yes. You know what? We had a Finnish female basketball player named Pinja Pinanen, who was one of Mike's last players at Arkansas. She didn't really play very much, but I remember Pinja. She was really nice, very sweet, and when she got on the court, played hard, but you could. She was a freshman, playing in the SEC.
I think this has a lot to do with the 92 Dream Team. You look at Finnish basketball players. You had a few years ago, you had a guy for the Hawks just like 6 years ago play a couple years, and now the Utah Jazz have a Finnish guy. So that's what you're seeing is when the 92 Dream Team took over the world, you're seeing kids. That's about the right timing for their parents to have kids and those kids to start being hoopers.
Hey, Clay, Unit, his homework yesterday was find us some Finnish sports facts. Unit, give us another fact. That's how we found out wife carrying and boot throwing. What else can you tell us?
What colors are their state flag? Or their country flag?
Cross-country skiing, they had some skiers, right?
They have the second most consecutive Olympic medals behind Sweden, according to C Unit's facts from earlier today.
Aren't they blue and white? Isn't Finnish blue and white?
Yes. It's a cross on the
Finland is famous for producing world-class Formula One drivers like Kiki Rosberg, Mika Häkkinen, Kimi Räikkönen, Valtteri Bottas, and rally drivers often called the Flying Finns.
They're into speed, man. I mean, if they're into hockey and they're into downhill skiing, they're speed freaks. That means this kid can really run the floor, right?
He looks halfway athletic, man.
He is very athletic.
Yeah, I don't know who he's playing against, Clay, because when you're looking at the European plays, like how many of those other kids are good. But from what you see right there, you're like, he looks athletic.
If there's a place to go play in Europe that I think would be a good prep for you, Serbia would be it.
Yeah, Real Madrid, any of the Spanish basketball league is pretty good. Serbia, they're tough, and Serbia's actually had some success. You're right, Clay. Their national team has been pretty good.
Unit, give me one more Finnish sports fact.
Disc golf has exploded
Oh,
in
wow.
popularity with hundreds of thousands of active players relative to the small population.
All
Thanks, Unit. That was a good one.
That's good
Way
stuff.
to end on a good one right
College
there.
students love disc golf too. I bet you Mickey Murinen's really good at disc golf.
Well, he got an advantage. His arm's halfway there before when he's throwing it.
877-377-6963 for the Lewis Automotive Group hotline. Bill King from Nashville Sports Radio joins us in 20 minutes. We got the Hall of Famer and Emmy Award winner Clay Henry, and we are back in hour 3 after this.
Selling your home doesn't have to be stressful, not when you work with Tara Limbird and the Limbird Real Estate Group. With over $1 billion in real estate sold, Tara's team knows how to make the process simple, successful, and even enjoyable. They can provide you with a cash offer in 72 hours, or you can use Tara's high-octane marketing and sell your home for thousands over asking. When it's time to buy or sell, trust the team that delivers results. Go to LimbirdTeam.com. LIMBIRD.
Up to $11,000 off on select GMC Sierras at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. The GMC Sierra will conquer the road with confidence. Up to $11,000 off. Or take 5.9% financing for up to 84 months. Lease the all-new 2026 GMC Canyon for as low as $399 a month with approved credit. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. We are professional grade. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Here's to you and yours from the friendly folks at In Good Spirits, your upscale liquor store in Fort Smith. At In Good Spirits, they've got what your taste buds are craving, including flavorful wines from around the world, scrumptious brandies and liqueurs, tempting whiskeys and beers, and fine cigars. Treat yourself to the best as you listen to the game. Check out In Good Spirits, 12100 Highway 71 South, across from Riley Farms in Fort Smith.
What's new at the Golf Nut in 2026? A lot. New tailor-made ID4 woods, hybrids, and irons are in stock January 29th. The all-new Ping G440K driver and Ping S259 wedges also arrive January 29th. And coming soon, Callaway Quantum Woods and Hybrids February 13th, with irons landing February 27th. Step inside our newly remodeled retail space, check out the simulation bays, and experience our new fitting and lesson bay featuring 3 high-speed cameras filming at 120 frames per second. The Golf Nut, where your best game starts.
Smalls here. What if you could enjoy the flavor of a cocktail without the alcohol? Meet RK Zero Proof, a pioneer in the alcohol-free spirits category that delivers bold taste and a warming sensation, but with 0 alcohol, 0 sugar, 0 carbs, and 0 calories. So you can celebrate with friends, unwind after a long day, and wake up tomorrow feeling great. It's all the ritual of a drink without the regret. Discover RK at rkbeverages.com. That's ARKAY beverages.com. RK, the spirit without the alcohol.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, another round of strong to severe weather expected. Large hail damaging winds will be the 2 main threats, but we can't rule out the possibility of a few tornadoes. We should see a chance of showers and storms building in. Again, those strong to severe high temperatures will be in the mid to upper 70s. Showers and thunderstorms will be intense again tonight, and overnight low 50s. I'm Sally Russell with the forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Forest Green Incorporated, committed to setting the standard of excellence since 1936. KERX Paris Fort Smith. This is Halftime, coming at you from the Crabtree RV Studios on ESPN 95.3. Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect it.
Live from the Busch Light Studio.
Don't ask me if I'm all right. Why can't they dominate? And we not doing it. We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field. Yeah.
Phil said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Bill Olson and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. Let's go, man.
I have zero respect for saying no moss at halftime.
But they were one Razorback. It's vintage Matt Jones.
The Cinderella story is over, man. Let's go.
Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olson and Matt Jones.
Back on halftime, continuing here at 1:01 in the afternoon on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. Phil Elson along with Matt Jones and the Hall of Famer and Emmy Award winner Clay Henry joining us on the Lewis Automotive Group hotline. The unit Christian Johnston is producing, and calls and texts always come in on the Lewis Automotive Group hotline at 877-377-6963. The news we've been reacting to the last 35, 40 minutes is the transition in leadership, as it says at the top of the press release from Razorback Communications in Arkansas Gymnastics. And, usually wouldn't be talking too much about college tennis or college gymnastics here on we got a baseball series that starts today in a 5-game week. But because of the cut in tennis, and I think a lot of people would automatically draw the line between a very well-known head coach in gymnastics announcing she's stepping down, and that has something to do with the finances at the athletic department, but then it really doesn't seem to be anything about that. This is a quote from Coach Weber on the press release. Serving as head coach of Arkansas Gymnastics has been an honor. Deeply grateful to our student athletes, staff, Razorback fans for an unforgettable journey. I'm stepping away from athletics to focus on my family and other passions. I'm excited for what's ahead and will forever be cheering on the Razorbacks, unquote. Here's the thing, is that a lot of times, Matt, when a coach says, I'm going to continue to cheer on this team, that means she or he is going to be doing it from afar. She literally will probably be in the arena with her husband, Chris Brooks, as the new head coach. She will be there cheering on her team, but as a fan and apparently, although that's not what she's saying, if you're going to step away from something to focus on family and you've got very young kids, there are millions of women that make this choice.
Being a coach is a calling, and giving back to those kids and making relationships. You got to think in her line of work, a lot of times getting the ladies to come to your gymnastics and to play for you, it's about relationships. So you have to think she still has connections to some of the kids that are still there.
Clay, it's not really the kind of thing we would usually be bringing up, but it would kind of just get like a mention, Like I remember when Jordan was first hired, she came on halftime. This was one of the ways that she was introduced to the fan base, and she was terrific.
Well, it was,
but that was also headline news. I mean,
well,
it
was an incredibly unique experience to hire somebody that didn't have formal coaching experience. She'd been a volunteer for UCLA's staff as a student because she was a professional. She had signed the deal after the gold medal, trip to London, and did that tour as a professional. And so she couldn't play, compete in gymnastics as a collegian. And, her coach just kept her as a choreographer and eventually an assistant coach. But she was a volunteer coach for that program, and you hired her to be head coach of a top 15 program, which I don't think that's been done at any other sport at any other time.
They're going to have a press conference in a couple of hours at the Broyles Center to make this announcement. And it won't just be the new head coach, Chris Brooks. Jordan Weber will be there with him. So that'll make it a little unique, a little different, and also it's also not what people are expecting. What people are expecting, if they just see the headline, and honestly, that's what I was thinking when I first see the headline. Jordan Weber is stepping down from gymnastics as head coach after Jocelyn Roberson decides she wants to go finish her career somewhere else. You take those two things together without any of the context or the other information, the first thing you're going to think about is they had their NIL cut, or they're not getting the kind of funding that they feel that they should be getting, or that they might have been getting before. But I don't think it has anything. I don't think it has anything to do with that.
Yeah, I think when we get to the first break after that, I didn't know it until you said it on air. I was like, I think I need to look because I think she's married to the new coach. I waited till the break to look at that.
So well, that again, this all came out in the last hour.
I can't tell you that I'm intimately involved with covering gymnastics. I'm not.
Me neither, but I've been to the event a couple of times and it's fun.
I've been to two. Yeah.
It's a ton of fun. There's always something happening, out there, and you look to your left, look to your right. There's something that'll catch your eye.
Yeah, It moves really fast.
I don't know what it is I'm watching, truthfully, but it's kind of cool to watch it. I do know what I'm watching tonight, and I hope it's a baseball game, and I think it's actually going to happen because the weather app, and I've been just like, you look ahead a week ahead of a ball game, you're like, I don't know if we're going to play or not. Well, then you look the day of the game and you realize, you know what, we actually probably will be able to get out there and play. They need the 5 games too this week. I don't feel that way about every 5-game week, but this team needs the 5-game week. They really need another pitcher, another right-handed pitcher that they can trust, and I don't know if it'll be like full on 100%. Yes, I trust you, but I think it's more going to be if somebody, and it's probably more tomorrow, because it's the Wednesday games that are more of the audition for the next weekend. If somebody goes out against Northwestern State and has a good-looking inning where they throw the ball over the plate, trust their stuff, and get a few outs, they'll get a chance on the weekend to do that against Ole Miss. But if they don't throw the ball over the plate, they won't get that chance. And is it a matter of trying to establish consistency? I don't know if I trust that there is consistency for Arkansas in terms of hitting. But where they can be more consistent is in the field and a little bit more on the pitcher's mound. And that's why another thing this week, and I don't know if he would pitch today or tomorrow, or if you just kind of hold him off for the weekend. Clay, Carson Wiggins should be back this week. I talked with Dave about it last week off the air. There was a doctor's appointment yesterday. If he's cleared, he's ready to go. And all signs are pointing towards he's ready to go. I mean, they were so impressed with what he's looked like in the bullpen. And now we'll see what he looks like on the mound sometime this week. I'm assuming that that it won't be midweek first. It'll be Ole Miss first sometime Friday or Saturday.
Why do you say that? Wouldn't you want to get him a little action before that?
I would maybe you do. It'd be an inning, and it's like he's going to start him back a little bit slowly with an inning against Northwestern State as a starter tomorrow, maybe, because they didn't announce a starter tomorrow. It's Tate McGuire today, and I think you probably want to control the situation he comes into, and the only way to do that is to start him. So maybe tomorrow, and if it's an inning, well, and then he comes back to throw Saturday or Sunday. So maybe there is a chance of that.
So you put him on 5-day rest, 6-day rest, something like that, right? So if he pitches an inning today, he could pitch Sunday. I'm asking. I don't know. That's 4 days rest.
I think that could work because they'll use guys Tuesday and then Friday. But those are pitchers that have been a little bit more built up and on more of a schedule.
He's in a we've used unique a couple of times. It's a unique situation for him, without question. But I just wondered if he pitched today, when he would pitch again, whether it would. There's some guys that you got 6-day rest. The starters, if they're throwing 80 to 100, you want 6-day rest for them.
Well, the chances of rain, it's a 6 o'clock game tonight, and the weather app says 14% chance of rain at 6 o'clock. So that's down from about 50% when I was looking at it 3 days ago.
I think you're playing baseball today.
That's right. Nobody drew a rain turtle at Baum-Walker Stadium. That's good. If I get out there today and I see a rain turtle, I'm going to scratch that sucker out. Nobody draws rain turtles for college baseball, though. They do it for minor league baseball because nobody ever wants a rain out for a college game. Those guys all want to play those games. With a minor league game, they never want to play. They all want the rain out. Are we getting a rain out today, man? We shouldn't be playing. For college ball, it's like, dude, we need 2 games to play. We're going to play 2 tomorrow and then 2 the next day.
Is that just how the grind kind of takes the life out of it? The business side of being a college kid, and I guess you're making a lot of money now, but then when you go up there and you're not getting the same travel, you're not getting the same hospitality, you're not getting the same. Think of, and I'll go to basketball, and it's, think of what Coach Callen playing for the University of Arkansas when you travel and everything you do is first class. Then you go play in the Chesapeake Bay League and play in the, you're not getting first class like that. You're getting a $72 per diem, and it's like, go fend for yourself.
And that's when it feels like a job. That's what it is. To the minor league players, it was a job, and to the college players, I don't think they view it that way. And there's also a difference when you play 56 compared to 140, and you feel like maybe the final score of your minor league game doesn't matter very much. You certainly
Well,
think
it's
the
the
final
same
score
thing.
of your college game matters.
It's the same thing in basketball when you're not on the A team and you're playing. You're working on individual things. You're working on something today, and same thing in baseball. You're working on laying off some pitch. You're not necessarily in the moment situational. You're just working on your individual ability, and sometimes that translates over.
NARMC, they bring better to you, the second largest employer in Harrison, over 700 employees and over $50 million in annual salaries provided in the community. Also, the only facility within 50 miles of Harrison that is baby-friendly designated. They were the third in Arkansas to be so, and now there are 8 hospitals in Arkansas that are baby-friendly designated. NARMC delivers over 500 babies annually. You can learn more at narmc.com to learn about North Arkansas Regional Medical Center. Bill King from Nashville Sports Radio will join us on Halftime after this.
Lewis Automotive, celebrating over 80 years, since 1946. No pressure, no hassle, just
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
From sauce to dust to nuggets. Diablo dusted crispy chicken nuggets. No, they don't come in mild. That would make like 0 sense with the name. Or the whole explosion thing we just did. New Diablo Dusted Crispy Chicken Nuggets. A brand new classic. Only at Taco Bell.
Lewis Automotive has been serving Northwest Arkansas for over 75 years and just getting started.
Our knowledgeable sales team is here to find you the perfect vehicle to fit not only your lifestyle, but also your budget.
Our factory-trained service technicians keep your vehicle running at optimal level.
And if you're looking for genuine parts and accessories, our team has exactly what you need.
Relax in our comfortable lounge. And when your car's ready, we'll return it to you spotless.
Thank you for being a part of our story.
Come see us at Lewis Automotive Group, where you're more than a customer, you're family.
If your Razorback closet needs an upgrade, the University of Arkansas Game Day Collection is what you are looking for. Only at Roback.com. They have brand new Arkansas hoodies and polos that are selling fast. Go to Roback.com to check out their new apparel. That's Roback.com. RHOBACK.com. Use the code RUSH26 for 20% off your first order. Roback, where action meets comfort.
David Bowie got more fame with his #1 hit titled Fame. John Lennon co-wrote and sounded some of the high notes. The last line in the first verse sums it up. Fame puts you there where things are hollow. John 12:43 tells us that many people rejected Jesus because they loved the fame of people more than the praise of God. Is it any wonder you get more fame by rejecting the name of Jesus? I'm Pastor E. from Woodland. Think about it.
Hello, this is Sebastian County Assessor Zach Johnson here to remind you to assess your personal property by May 31st to avoid late penalty. You can do this in person at one of our 3 locations, over the phone, or online by going to www.countyservice.net. I would also like to remind any current homeowners or any individuals buying their homes on contract to contact our office and check on your eligibility for the homestead tax credit. Contact us today to see if you qualify. The homestead tax credit could save you up to $600 off your tax bill.
So I had pain in my feet for a good 20 years.
It felt like I was standing on marbles.
Something wasn't working with my feet. Was diagnosed with plantar fasciitis.
If your feet aren't comfortable, the rest of the body suffers.
So I went into the Good Feet store and bam. They wanted to make sure that they gave me the right arch support.
You put in the arch supports. To me, it was almost miraculous.
It really brought me back to being able to be me.
I can run, I can walk. This is not something that you could solve online.
Reclaim the good life with the free arch support fitting at the Good Feet store. Good feet, good life.
The Hit That Line Now app is ready for you to download from the Apple and Google Play stores. Sponsored by Taco Bell. Live Moss. Make sure to follow Halftime on X at Hit That Line AR and on Facebook and Instagram at Hit That Line. Call or text 877-377-6963. All guests join us on the Lewis Automotive Hotline, serving Northwest Arkansas for over 80 years. Since 1946. No pressure, no hassle, just tradition. The challenge is over, but the deals aren't. Come take advantage of the thank you event only at Lewis Automotive. Let's get back to the show with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
It didn't look like we'll get Bill King today. That's on me, guys. I send texts to all the guests. I forgot to send Bill a text today.
It happens.
You want to admonish me? You want to put me in the corner with a dunce hat or something? I'll do it.
No, we're not like the Dan Le Batard show.
I think you have to put your nose in that circle and stand right there.
Sounds good. That means that this will be your segment then, Matt. I got to go put my nose in the corner over here.
Why do I want more work? You know what's going on? I thought we had a good thing going. You know.
Put your nose in that circle and don't move.
Ugh. It's like in basketball when you see a guy get beat off the dribble and the big guy slides over and fouls the other person, then he has to go sit out. It's like, no, it's not his fault because you couldn't stay in front of your guy. I had to protect the rim. You know,
you gave up the baseline.
Yeah,
you will be doing push-ups tomorrow at start practice.
Push-ups.
Hey, was Sam the first coach to get fired last football season?
He made it after the Notre Dame game. Was that 4 games? Five games?
That was 4.
Yeah.
I seem to think there was somebody that was let go a week before him.
I think he was not first. Yeah,
I think he was second.
Yeah.
I was just wondering about. I can't remember
how there was like somebody after him. Brian Kelly was close after him.
Weren't there 13 or 14?
There's 3 in the SEC.
Even in the first 2 months. Ooh. So I mean, you already have had 2 firings in Major League Baseball in the first month. For Joey Cora with the Red Sox, and now yesterday or this morning, Rob Thompson of the Phillies.
Who made the better of the move? Like which team still has a chance to make the playoffs, postseason plays? What I'm saying.
I think the Phillies have a better roster than the Red Sox do.
And Donnie Baseball's their manager. Come on.
Well, and they didn't fire half the coaches too. The Sox they got rid of their entire Major League hitting coaching staff.
They're really optimizing right now.
Well, it's optimization guy that did the firing.
Of course it was.
Well,
so how is Tony Vitello doing? They had a slow start, but they hit their stride finally.
Let's see here. The Giants are 13-15. You realize too, it's a 30-game SEC baseball season. Now they play 56. And they, play every game to win and everything, but there's nothing quite as intense as the 30 league games. And that's the same for every other college baseball league. The first month of the Major League season is 30, and you can't treat it the same. And I haven't seen so many sound bites from Tony of late, but it's like after the 3rd game of the season, and they lost 3 in a row to the Yankees, and he's talking about there's emotion in the clubhouse and everything, and I don't know. It just it felt fish out of water, but maybe it takes time for him to get to the place where he's just more comfortable in it. He's in a tough division too. That's a division that spends a ton of money. Dodgers and Padres are going to place. They're going to spend more money as well. But I guess he's doing all right. They're not in last place. They're half a game out of last.
Yeah, and I think if you take out the first week, they have a winning record. You can't take out the first week.
You can't, but you can at least look at it that way. It's like, that's right, Tony. Don't worry too much about the three losses in a row. to the Yankees. There's other teams that are doing that too, since the Yankees are in first place. But Boston fell 7 games out of the first month. That can earn you a firing. The difference is Thompson took the Phillies to the World Series. He's the most successful manager in that franchise's history in terms of wins and winning percentage. And you get veterans that are kind of a shell of themselves. So you're not going to get rid of the veterans. You get rid of the manager and see if that does something.
Happens every time. Pro sports, yeah.
Which one of those two managers is Farah Cora at Boston and the guy that you said so successful at Philly? Which one finds another job sooner? Or I don't know if sooner is a word, but which one finds another job quicker? And which one do you think's the better manager? Because I know Cora was the better baseball player, right?
Right, and I think Cora, I think he's kind of. I think he's had another job. Tell me to imagine he'll end up as a big league man, and Thompson will too. I mean, he was successful with a veteran-laden team for 4 years. There's going to be another veteran-laden team in this offseason.
And that's like 10 years in Philadelphia, right? Like, I mean, the Philadelphia press and everything you're going on. That's a dog year, right?
The other thing about being out on the East Coast with the big leagues, with the big league cities in Philadelphia, in Boston. If you stink in the month of April, their minds are made up about you. They're done with you by then. You're also going against New York in that case, right? Boston is 7 games out behind the Yankees, but on the other side, the Phillies are tied with the Mets, and those are maybe the 2 highest paid teams in that entire division. So then, what happens to the Mets next? That's the next guy to lose his job.
Yeah, those are places where the fans send the moving van to your house.
It used to be they'd fly the airplane over with the banner behind it, and now they send the moving company to your house.
Cliff reminds us,
put a for sale sign in your front yard.
Cliff reminds us Mike Gundy was before Sam Pittman.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
And you know who Mike Gundy's last Power 5 win was? Power 4 win.
You really, and that was a year before. Goodness gracious.
That was a primo moan by Christian in the background that y'all couldn't hear. The best one of the day.
And then Franklin was a couple weeks after Sam. You're not going to have a season like that, right? There aren't going to be how many different coaches?
Oh, I don't think you know. I don't think you know anymore. I think you could be wrong. It could be that every year. NIL, everybody's like, hey, you win now. You win now. It's a new roster. You picked it. You picked a whole roster. That's 70 new players, and you can't win, then all these guys are gone. We're not going to let you do it again. We're going to have somebody else pick our new roster.
Well, and whatever you did the year before might not really have very much cachet with anybody. Because, Matt, I mean, Rob Thompson managed 3 90-win teams, at least 90 wins. At least 90 wins. You know what they didn't do? And I'd forgotten. He didn't get them to the World Series. Girardi's the last manager to get them to the World Series. Thompson was hired after that. So, I mean, if he would have gotten to the series, maybe that's the kind of thing that keeps you as the manager. That is a manager that had won no fewer than 56% of his regular season games the last 3 years. Doesn't even make it through the first month of this year.
Did you already go to the Yankees to be their manager after that, or why did he leave? They didn't fire him after they made the World Series, huh? Did he leave on his own accord?
I don't remember the deal that happened with Girardi. Maybe I don't remember all about that. I'm just looking at a manager that's got a winning percentage of looks like about 58% in the regular season, but because there's one way to goose a team of veterans, because they're not going to cut the veterans and nobody's going to trade for them, is to fire the manager.
You got to watch. You don't have to watch any of the Soccer Premier League games, but Clay will be able to tell you there'll be 7 coaches get fired in a season during the season of playing,
and it's normal.
Sometimes the coach will get fired, a new coach will come in and won't even make it through the end of the year. Like Chelsea, I have 3 coaches, and then some teams that are battling for relegation, they're just trying to get a little 6-game win streak going on so they can save their money and be in the Premier League again.
877-377-6963 for the Lewis Automotive Group hotline. Always love Clay stopping by with us Tuesdays and Wednesdays. We've got Hall of Famer, Emmy Award winner Clay Henry tomorrow. Also, Grant Hall and Dudley Dawson. Thursday, we'll have Batter Up with Bubba Carpenter. Also talking with Brett Dolan. Our weekly guests brought to you by Swift's Jewelry in downtown Fayetteville. They are the place to go if you're looking for something special or celebrating an anniversary, or if you're popping the question, because Swift specializes in custom jewelry and engagement rings and have been doing so since 1956, right next to Hugo's on Black Avenue. Swift's also keeps you on time with expert watch repair. SwiftsJewelry.com to learn more. Swift's Jewelry, celebrating life's biggest moments. We're in the home stretch of halftime, and we will return after this break.
I just want to let you know you're the best as far as calling baseball games I've ever heard.
This is halftime.
Superstars Joe Klein and Pat Bradley for Arkansas's #1 sports app, Bet Saracen.
Joe, you know the main difference between Bet Saracen and those other guys?
Definitely easier to navigate. Always good parlays. Plus lots of fun choices, like ping pong, right there on the app.
But the real difference are those special promos.
Get $250 on us with your first $25 wager.
Gambling problem? Call 800-GAMBLER.
Rich Eisen here with some advice. If high-interest credit card debt is grinding you down, it might be time to call an Audible with a SoFi personal loan. It consolidates your debt into one low monthly payment with no fees required. And with as soon as the same-day funding, you can make the right play fast. Call an Audible on your debt today at SoFi.com/debtplay. Loans originated by SoFi Bank N.A. Member FDIC. Terms and conditions apply. NMLS 696891. Fast funds terms apply at SoFi.com/debtplay.
You're listening to Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
Save up to $4,000 on select Buick Enclaves at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. That's $4,000 off and 4.9% financing for up to 84 months on this luxurious third-row SUV. Or drive the brand-new Buick Envista, a stylish crossover, for as low as $399 per month. These are limited-time offers. Experience the new Buick at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith, or online at harryrobinson.com.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Spring is in the air, and the fish are biting, the gobblers are strutting, and the trees are blooming. Jelco Outdoors, your locally owned one-stop shop, is ready to help you get outside and enjoy the great outdoors. Stop by and let our friendly staff help you get the gear you need. Jelco Outdoors, your store for hunt, fish, and work. That's what we do. Jelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith. Shop local. Shop Jelco Outdoors.
Here's to you and yours from the friendly folks at In Good Spirits, your upscale liquor store in Fort Smith. At In Good Spirits, they've got what your taste buds are craving, including flavorful wines from around the world, scrumptious brandies and liqueurs, tempting whiskeys and beers, and fine cigars. Treat yourself to the best as you listen to the game. Check out In Good Spirits, 12100 Highway 71 South, across from Riley Farms in Fort Smith.
In sports, the tape never tells the whole story. Hiring is no different. AI can make candidates look like an MVP on paper, so knowing the person and the skills behind the resume matters. That's where Robert Half changes the game. Our recruiters combine their expertise with award-winning AI to evaluate skills and fit quickly. Learn how we can find you specialized talent in finance, accounting, technology, and more. At Robert Half, we know talent. Visit roberthalf.com/talent today.
The Hit That Line Now app, fueled by Taco Bell. Online and on the air and now everywhere you go. Tune in to the greatest moments of Razorback sports with Chuck Barrett, Bo Mattingly, Tommy Kraft, Ty Richardson, Phil Elson, Matt Jones, and Ruskin and Zach with our Hit That Line Now app, fueled by Taco Bell. Stay connected no matter where you go with the Hit That Line Now app, fueled by Taco Bell. Download for free in the Apple app or Google Play stores. Just search Hit That Line Now. It's fueled by Taco Bell. Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
What goes up must come down. Spinning wheel, got to go round. Talking about your troubles, it's a crying sin. Around a painted pony, let the spinning wheel spin.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text 877-377-6963. All guests join us on the Lewis Automotive Hotline, serving Northwest Arkansas for over 80 years. Since 1946. No pressure, no hassle, just tradition. The challenge is over, but the deals aren't. Come take advantage of the thank you event only at Lewis Automotive. Let's get back to the show with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
I think it's 6:30 tonight. Tyran Stokes is supposed to announce his commitment to either Kansas or Kentucky. I'm only bringing it up because the Kentucky fans are putting the whole thing on him. And you're at a place here with Arkansas where maybe Obinna Ikezi chooses Arkansas and reclassifies, but then that would also be another player that Kentucky absolutely needs to get in order to have some sort of a semblance of a team. So at least right now we do know the Hogs are going to have a basketball team this next year. They may be the youngest team in the SEC. They may be the youngest team in the country for the Power 5 or Power 6 league. There are however many power leagues there are. But you're not here at this point in late April hanging on a fingernail at the edge of a cliff on whether or not this Tyran Stokes chooses Kentucky, chooses you, or chooses somewhere else. And you wouldn't have felt that way about Mika Murinen either. Like that's a great get, but it's a bonus get connected to the rest of the class you already have. Kentucky has no class. So
Kentucky has no class. That's very well put.
You like how that came out?
And you're looking at I'm looking at the top 10 picks in the NBA projection. How many of them do you think are point guards? Half of them. Point guard, you got to have a point guard. All 10 of them are freshmen. So when you talk about one of the best freshman class that it took to pick 11 to get a foreigner, some guy that we haven't heard of, and then I'm seeing Malik Thomas coming up a lot at that pick 29, pick 30, somewhere right around there. So that's the tough. I think that's tough right there. What would you do, Phil? Like if you're Malik Thomas,
come back.
You know what I would do. But that's a tough place because you're going to accomplish your dream, and you might be a first rounder, you might not.
Right.
If you come back, you might be a lottery.
I think he can be. I think he comes back and showcases his talent, makes that jump. And Clay, we were talking in the first hour about players making jumps. And I know every player's different, but to my opinion, basketball players make the biggest jump from their freshman to their sophomore year. Football might be a little different. Baseball might be a little bit different. But what do you think? I mean, don't you think he'll just make great strides coming back next year?
It will be huge jump. I think his talent is his skill is way off the charts. But he needs some physical maturity that he's not going to have in August when he reports to the Lakers camp or whatever. I mean, he's going to develop physically a lot in the next year and a half. I mean, I think the jump we saw between freshman and sophomore for Billy Richmond was immense. The jump that I saw between freshman and sophomore with Sidney Moncrief was huge. Sidney was
Ronnie Brewer, yeah.
Sidney was just a guy is a freshman. Now he was a good one, but he wasn't the NBA's defensive player of the year. I mean, that wasn't what you could predict. You think, well, he's a hard worker, not a very good shooter, doesn't have a very good free throw percentage. He was not a skilled offensive player. He was a guy that could go get the ball, and he could play defense, and incredible work ethic. But his skill level just jumped over the next 3 years. And by the time he was a senior, well, then he was superset. I think maybe halfway through his sophomore year, everybody realized that he's a first rounder. But he He played all 4 years.
Did you consider the draft after your junior year?
I did, because I was changing positions, because I knew that going from quarterback to receiver, it was all about height, weight, measurements, vertical, being an athlete, and then the ability to want to change. I didn't mind playing receiver. So I actually went with Coach Nutt and sat in his office, and we talked a little bit about it, and it was a thought, but I would say it was a 10% thought. It was a 20. I thought about it, but then after talking with my folks, talking with Coach Nutt, it's like, no, I want to come back and be an Arkansas Razorback.
Matt, at that point, I know that Brett Bielema told me that he prepared a book of information from NFL teams for, say, Alex Collins to look at. Was there that kind of information?
Coach Nutt had that stuff. He had a list of guys. There's scouts everywhere, and you're able to get back kind of what the general consensus is. And I think Coach Nutt thinks a lot of how Coach Calipari thinks, and I don't know that all coaches think this, but it's if you're a first-round pick, you're a top 12 pick, you got to go. You got to go. If you're not, come back here, be a leader, be a captain, and let's go to work.
So I saw, and I guess this might be a little bit different. At the Mizzou series last weekend, Scott Service was in attendance. I remember Scott Service played in big leagues for over 10 years with the Chicago Cubs and a couple other teams. And I met him as the farm director for the Angels, eventually became Seattle Mariners manager, and he's now a special assistant to the general manager for the San Diego Padres, which means anything he's assigned to do, it can be any number of things. This is a guy that also is a scout at his heart and representing the Padres as a catcher. And I'm watching, and I saw him there. I went up and said hello to him. It's nice to see you again. And it hits me. It's like, well, here's a big league catcher that had a big league managerial career. He's on special assignment. Who's he here to watch? He's here to watch Ryder Helfrich.
Yep. Yeah,
that's exactly right.
I thought you were asking me.
He's not going to be the only. They're not going to be the only team that's in on Ryder Helfrich, especially since the Padres select number 21. But I'm here to tell you, I wouldn't be surprised if Ryder Helfrich is a San Diego Padre. But to me, it feels like a guarantee he's going to be a first-round pick. But even as a junior out of college, there's almost no chance that he would come back. Even as a back end of first round, early second round pick, feels to me no chance to come back because the money in college is not the same as what you're going to get there. With the NBA, it's totally different. Totally different.
It's interesting that you talk about, the cross checkers or the GMs or someone way, way up comes to see certain players. And I have a relationship with David Chad, who's special assistant with the Phillies to the president. And used to be the scouting director for the Tigers, was vice president. And he's had that role across Major League Baseball. Helped draft the Red Sox to their World Series championship. And I was checking with him after the no-hitter that Gage Wood threw in Kansas City. And I said, have you seen him? Nope, we haven't seen him. He was not on their radar as a first-rounder until he did that. And then they drafted him in the first round. But it's usually they're going to see those type players, but you can't go see them after their season's over. And that was the last game that he pitched. So usually they're going to have somebody like David Chad or Scott Service come in and see that guy if they think he's a potential first rounder. But I think Gage Wood went from the second round or the third round to the first round with that performance.
Yeah, and so there could have been a chance that he might have ended up coming back because we knew he had first round stuff. And you're like, all right, well, then maybe there's a chance that you can elevate yourself to being in that first round. Well, the no-hitter kind of did that.
That's what. Hey, with the Arkansas Razorbacks make the Final Four next year, Billy Richmond, Malik Thomas elevates themselves because we're not going to make it.
That's how you do it, isn't it, Matt?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Without those guys.
When you made your decision too, Matt, there's an inherent risk in the decision to go back to college, and that risk is injury specifically.
So here's what they do for those kids. I didn't do it at the time, but if you were projected first or second round, they do that catastrophic insurance for you, and they actually pay that for you. Where if the Willis McGahee situation, you have something bad happen to you. But the way I always looked at it, and my dad being a coach and both my parents being teachers, is, look, this is what you love to do. you know there's a risk involved in it. Don't worry. Get that out of your mind, because that's when injuries happen. Don't think about being injured or anything bad happening. Just keep playing the kid game that you love with the joy and passion that you have.
You know, and sometimes it is a matter of when you're eligible. And I can't imagine that if you go back to Arkansas, which you chose to do, that you might have played yourself out of the first round, because your athleticism and your knowledge of football was the thing that was really, that you were going to be marketed in that way. And unless you were hurt, that stuff wasn't going to change. I think of watching Gabe Gackle this year, right? And think of if Gackle would have been eligible as a draftee after his sophomore season, he's going to go much earlier than he's about to go this next year as a junior, because he has not pitched to that level. His stuff has not been at that level, and it was 1 year ago. But he didn't have that option. There would have been that risk in his mind. If I go back to Arkansas, what if he's not going to think like that. He gets a chance to be a Friday starter. You can elevate yourself. That's what they're trying to do with Carson Wiggins. Come back. Yeah, you'll go. He's got to. If he shows this week and the next month that he's healthy, he very well could already be a first-round pick. But if you show yourself to be a true Friday night ace in the SEC, doesn't matter what program you're pitching for, in the SEC, you may be top 10, top 5. And so there's that risk that goes along with it. I wouldn't even know how to make that decision.
Yeah, and some kids, their dream is to go to that next level and play on the top professional level. And some kids, it's not necessarily that important. And I always think what's important is timing. It's not about being first. It's not about, hey, I got to be a one and done. I got to go now. No, it's the timing, the maturity, the fit. There's a lot of growth, and Clay, you said it best talking about Malik Thomas, the physical maturity. He needs another year in the weight room.
He just needs to get thicker, and I think that you'll see him be a more powerful jumper. You'll see him be able to take contact at the rim a little better. I mean, he goes to the rim. He's a slasher and a finisher, but it's you'll just see every aspect, and I think his defense can improve with physical maturity.
And you're right. And the next year, and so he's a bona fide scorer. But let's look at it this time. Teams were not putting their defensive game plan to stop Malik Thomas. It was to stop Acuff. Teams will start doing that next year. Malik Thomas has 18 points a game. I could see a season where Malik Thomas conference play next year averages about 18 points a game. I don't think that would be too extreme.
He got tougher every year with Pat Bradley. Teams were like, okay, we didn't know who he was as a freshman. As a sophomore, okay, we know who he is. Now as a junior, hey, we got
He's
to
the
stop
first
that
name
guy.
on the sheet. That's right.
We're going to play a matchup in one.
You football guys,
we're going to guard the basket, but we're sending that guy. Our best defensive player is not going to leave Pat Bradley.
Clay, the football players that have this decision to make don't have the luxury like a basketball player or even a baseball player now does too, where you can put your name into the draft and then take your name out. You can go through the combine and then go back to college. Although I guess with NBA, maybe, I don't know, with all the eligibility concerns of Bediako and Najee and everything, I'm not sure what to believe in, but I do know that the combine is in a position in the year where you went to the combine, you don't have any more college eligibility. Baseball's different. You can put your name in and then take your name out. You can be drafted and not signed, like Parker Coyle. Basketball, I guess, is the same way now.
Well, and football is different, too. I think more like baseball, you have to be 3 years removed, right? Like
Well,
in basketball, you don't have to be.
Well, you can be a draft-eligible sophomore, so it's either 2 or 3.
Okay.
Depends on, I guess, when your 19th
If you're going to
birthday
be 21 before the draft, then you can go. You can go after 1 year if you're 21. That doesn't happen, but it could.
It's all apples and oranges with this thing, but it all comes down to the same. People think of it in the same idea. Well, maybe you can make more money going back to college. What does it equate to money? Does it always have to equate to money specifically? Because this is you want to strike while the iron's hot. This is the hottest the iron has been for these kids ever.
The optimization people, the front office people, whenever they draft you with the 13th pick overall, you're going to get every single chance to succeed or fail. When they draft you with the 39th pick overall, you might get 1 or 2 opportunities, and they'll be quick to say, I don't know, let's try to get rid of him, go somewhere else, because they have an ego too. They have to show that, hey, we evaluated this guy. This is our guy. This is our guy. So I think that's involved too. That's why it's like, hey, don't. And Jordan Walsh is the other example. It's like, He's a second-round guy. He's already won an NBA title, and he's playing playoff minutes right now.
And I think on like an example on the baseball team right now, T.J. Pompey is a high-profile free agent signee for a college baseball team. He just is. And I'm assuming that the amount of money he's getting is considerably more than a lot of other players on the team. He played his way out of the lineup at one point. Now, he can get really hot, and, I mean, he's going to be in there, but he's been in and out of the lineup. So, and I've seen in minor league baseball when you're absolutely right. When you're a first-round pick, you get chances to show over and over again that you're not worth that first-round pick. The 39th round pick would have to prove himself 5 times over in a
struck
season.
by lightning.
Right.
Yeah.
College coaches, if you're not producing, I don't care what we paid for you, you're sitting. Carter Rutenbar, I don't know how much money Carter Rutenbar is getting to be a Razorback. Nobody thought of him as a freshman. He's probably getting nothing or minuscule amounts. You will never see his name out of the lineup card now because he's a reason why they've been winning games. And you never question the sort of performance you get. He's been very steady.
Do they have a way in this NIL world to already have conversations about keeping him for next year? Like, hey, man, we're going to take care of you next year. Please don't, is that something going on? Hey, can we pay you now? Can we re-up it?
I can't answer you if they have those conversations. I just know when I talk with Dave and with Nate Thompson about Carter Rutenbar as a ball player,
they like him.
They love him.
Yeah.
They call him a ball player.
Yep.
He's in the
highest
plans.
compliment. Yeah.
Yeah, they call him a ball player, Clay. You know what that means if you're a baseball player. It's the ultimate compliment.
Means you're a stud.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
They love him.
Dave doesn't throw that around real loosely. I mean, it was about this time last year, something came up about Cam Kojal, and he's a ball player. I mean, it's like, okay, don't need to ask any more questions. That's Dave's ultimate compliment. The ones that you're puzzled about is somebody like Carson Brumbaugh, who is really talented, got all the tools that you would want, but just hadn't performed.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to have to go this summer, and he's not draft eligible, so he's going to have to perform this summer and work on the things, shorten his stroke a little bit, put the ball in play, can't be swing and miss, and I bet he does because he's gifted. But they couldn't go any deeper in the season with him at shortstop.
That's right. But and it always goes to show to me, it's like when you're a minor league ball player and you're playing for a minor league team, your team's record, they don't care about that record. They care about your stats. They care about the major league team's record. I mean, the college ball club, yeah, they're going to care about your stats because your stats affect that team's record, and that's the most important aspect of it. We'll wrap things up here in a moment on halftime. Want to remind you about Rhoback.com. That's where you find all brand new Razorback paraphernalia that you can't find anywhere else. Rhoback.com, the University of Arkansas Game Day collection featuring brand new Arkansas hoodies, polos, Q-zips that continue to sell fast. RHOBACK, Rhoback.com. Use the code RUSH26 at checkout. Get 20% off that first order at Rhoback, where action meets comfort. Wrapping up halftime right after this break.
0-2. Kojal hits a drive to right field. Back it goes. Camden Kojal's tied the game here in the 9th inning.
This is halftime.
Hey, Ty Richardson for A Cut Above Lawn and Landscaping. They service commercial and residential lawns for weed management and fertilization for a lush, healthy lawn. Need bush hogging? They do that too. A Cut Above also offers tree and limb removal. Don't forget hauling and dumpster rental as well. More than just a mowing service, they're A Cut Above. Call or text today at 479-719-5605. Lawn, landscaping, power washing, stump grinding, leaf removal, mulching, flea tick, and mosquito control. 719-5605.
Back again, Harry Robinson, Salisaw Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off I-40 in Salisaw. If you're looking to trade in and trade up or just outright sell your vehicle, nobody will pay you more than Harry Robinson's Salisaw Ford.
Yes, Tommy, most of the time, these are sales ads. We're not trying to sell you anything. We want to buy what you have. I mean, auctions are depleted right now. It's hard to get inventory. And so we're reaching out to you, the customer, the consumer. We want to buy your vehicle. Hey, if you want to trade up on a new one, we'll get you taken care of too. But this is not a sales commercial. We want want to buy your vehicle.
So even if I'm not going to buy one from you, you'll buy mine.
Yes, definitely. Just give us a shot. Even if you're buying something somewhere else and you want to get just a little bit more money for your trade, another $1,000, $2,000, give us a shot. Give us the opportunity. The checkbook's open and I'm ready to write.
And it'll only take about 10 minutes to get you a top-notch appraisal on your vehicle and find out what it's worth. Harry Robinson, Sallisaw Ford. 1 mile south of exit 308 off I-40 in Sallisaw. Online at harryrobinson.com.
You don't just maintain your land, you master it. And at Sutherland's, we've got the steel to help you do it. Experience the brute force of a bad boy mower. These mowers turn a weekend chore into a victory lap. But every great machine needs a home. Our Sutherland's custom barns are built to last. Call 1-800-66-BARNS. Sutherland's with 4 stores in Arkansas, Fort Smith, Huntsville, Hot Springs, and Stuttgart, and online at Sutherlands.com. No matter the project, we're here to help because at Sutherland's, home starts here.
When your carpets, upholstery, and floors look dirty and stained, call your local Service Master Clean at 646-4087. Service Master Clean is an industry leader and can remove the toughest stains from your home or office. And they back their work with a satisfaction guarantee. Eliminate dirt and grime from your carpet, hardwood, tile, and laminate floors. Call your local Service Master Clean, 479-646-4087. That's 646-4087 or online at servicemasterpc.com.
Running a business means wearing multiple hats. So if you're like me, you probably started out using your personal phone, taking client calls and texts nonstop. As my business grew, I needed something smarter. That's when I switched to Quo, the #1 business phone system. Quo works right on your phone or computer. No carrying 2 phones, no clunky landline, just one easy app you can try for free. Your team can share one number and handle calls and texts together like a shared inbox. Any teammate can jump into the conversation, so customers get faster responses. And Quo's AI assistant summarizes your calls and responds to customers 24/7, so you never miss a lead or opportunity. All this starts at just $15 a month. That's basically 2 coffees. You can even keep your current business phone number. Find out why 90,000 businesses trust Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/sports. That's quo.com/sports to try Quo free. QUO.com/SPORTS.
I want barbecue that's sliced thick, smoked long, and so tender it melts in your mouth. Sides that will fill me up like a twice-baked potato, baked beans, hand-cut fries, okra, Texas toast. You know what I'm talking about? A restaurant where the whole family can go and get a great meal for a great price. Where the owner actually comes to your table to make sure everything tastes great. I'll tell you what I want. I want Jerry Neal's.
Lewis Automotive, celebrating over 80 years since 1946. No pressure, no hassle, just tradition. The challenge is over, but the deals aren't. Come take advantage of the thank you event only at Lewis Automotive.
Hey, have you ever tried really reaching out for the other side? I may be climbing on rainbows, but baby, here goes.
Welcome back into halftime, live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
Wrapping up halftime today. We've got Clay Henry tomorrow for one more time this week. So we didn't get to everything today, Clay, but maybe we can hit on everything tomorrow. Not sure what else to hit on.
Champions League here in 9 minutes. PSG, Bayern Munich. Let's get it.
Hey, the Ted Lasso trailers are out.
August 5th. I just saw it, Clay. Comes out August 5th in the Richmond Ted Lasso. That's right.
Yeah, he's going to coach the women's team.
That's what I heard. He's going to transfer over to. Yep, that's what I heard.
I still have to get through. I still never made it through the second season.
Just start it again and go for it. You'll love it.
Did you see the Christmas episode? It's.
I did see the Christmas episode. This with the bad breath of the little girl, right?
Oh yeah,
that's one of the funniest things I'd ever seen.
Oh, it was really well done, and the story behind that is that it went so well. The series was going so well that they said we need 2 more episodes, and so they did that one, and it didn't have any carryover from the previous show to the next show. It was like a standalone. You could just watch that one and not watch anything else in the
Any good Christmas episode of any good sitcom
Standalone.
has to be able to do that.
He's like, I got you a jersey. It's called Roy Kent, but I changed one letter. I love it.
JT asks,
Matt.
can Matt make it home in 7 minutes? Wonder, Matt, how quickly can you make it over to that couch
I've
that's
already
about 3 rooms away
I've
from
already
here?
pressed pause so I can get the last 7 minutes of pregame commentary when they go over the lineup so I can see what's going on. So I'm already 9 minutes behind.
JT missed the opening of the show when we're at the Matt Jones home studio today, JT.
Yeah, it's so I've got a setup where if I want to lay down on my couch and do the show, I can. I'm not saying I've ever done that, but you could do that there, Matt.
Clay, I could. I
enough
have to
cord.
stand. I'm one of those guys. I can sit down a little bit, but I almost kind of, if I get to talking, I got to be moving a little bit.
Maybe tomorrow, Clay.
Are you a pacer?
You can plan.
I think so.
Plan this out for tomorrow, Clay, for the first segment of the show, because Clay admitted he almost slept through halftime today because he fell asleep on his chair before he got on. Just take your nap tomorrow with a headset on and the microphone turned up, and we'll see what happens at 12:01. That could be really interesting.
Just tell Lewis Campbell to call you again.
Or
He
that.
told me that was a thumb dial.
Hey, the Eastside Liquor Halftime Podcast is coming out shortly, thanks to the unit. And Ruskin and Zach are also getting set. They've got you for the next few hours. 5:30 airtime, 6 o'clock first pitch. Looks like we should be okay for baseball, Arkansas and Northwestern State tonight. And then we'll talk about it tomorrow. So for Clay, for Matt and the unit, I'm Phil. That's halftime. Have a great Tuesday.
The Roar E dirt bikes are unleashed, and they're ripping up everything you thought you knew about power. Instant torque that snaps your